This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Wow. Hey, there's Stacy, the legend. How the hell's it going? I kept meaning to give you a call, but I just get so busy during the day. It's crazy lately. Tomorrow, though. Tomorrow. All right. Yep. How's it going, everybody? Yep. Talked to Kelsey again today, and then just before I got on, I was talking to Misty Gillis, the legendary genealogist. But she, to let me know that we're going to, that they wanted me to go to Alabama, but I don't know if I'm going to have time now because it's so close. And plus, it's right around the holidays, so can't really do it. But I think Colleen might go, so we'll get some videos. Plus, it's all the way in Alabama. I guess that's what planes are for, but... Hey, thanks, Chrissy.
Chewbacca?
But they are going to get started on the Addison County case, too.
Welcome Wave, Ocean Wave.
That's right. Welcome Wave. Yeah, that's the case that you probably weren't here, Elite Wizard 407, but we funded $8,000, funded the Bibb County John Doe case out of Alabama. Look it up right now. The Bibb County John Doe. And, the freaks, we all made the newspaper. Yeah. Because we funded, and identifiers, found the case and for us and said, hey, they don't have the money. And maybe you guys want to help them out, and boom, we came up with the money, and it's from the income from the channel, and we did it. So that's all there is to it. No matter what, we make a difference on this channel. It's not just hype or, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's not the bells and whistles and flashy sound effects, Although I do have a couple. I got like this one. That one, yeah. Yeah, they're going to be starting on it real soon, actually. Wow, look at that. 25 months, MUNTS, as a Megazoid. Love being here with you all. You're all like family for me. I've been here for 5 years. And became a member as soon as it became available. Love you all so much. Well, there you go. So those of you who aren't members, please consider being a channel member, because that helps out the charities as well. It's all the same. It's all income to the channel. Thanks, Truth Sleuth.
Ocean Wave, Ocean Wave, Ocean Wave.
Yeah. So, no matter what, just watching, you're being here. If there's any kind of ad revenue, you help do that. But ad revenue's terrible, so it's really the people who send in super chats, channel memberships, and PayPal, all that kind of stuff helps because I use PayPal to make it higher. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Hit and run. I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, for some reason I don't hit the algorithms. Whatever people are doing. More people care about sensationalism, so I don't really get the flow of traffic. I should start doing that more, though. Hey, welcome, Jamie Lynn. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, and we got the same wackos are over there in the Summer Wells case. The same absolute morons that had the bullhorns and all that crap are now in Tennessee harassing the Wells family. Isn't that great? You know, here's what you got to ask yourself. So let's see, they were all there during the Brian Laundrie case. There you go. Look at Denise Smith, 6 months, Megazoid. Thank you. And thank you. Wow, 25 months for Kelly. And awesome. And I see up there LM. Thank you. So you guys remember the Brian Laundrie case, right? Well, you know, it was a big case. So those people all showed up over there to get fame and glory by screaming like morons through bullhorns in front of somebody's house. Then, now, you got to ask yourself this. If it was really something really important to do, and there, look at that, Rhea Mazarone, 9 months, oogla boogla freak. I mean, why would they go to the Summer Wells case? Aren't there a million other missing people out there that they could have given some media coverage to of some sort? But they didn't choose that one. Why? Because it wasn't important and big to them. It didn't have the viewers and coverage. It had nothing to do with really wanting to help. It has to do with the popularity of it. Because there's no way in hell those people would fly over to, you know, some random Joe Smith case of a missing person and do it. It doesn't pay to do it. Nobody to be watching it. You know? So anyways, I find that kind of stuff disgusting, and you know, I won't say their people's names, but it's sick. All right. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. No, it's really, you know what sucks about it the most is you got other people out there like, you know, chasing.
What
and,
they are doing is disgusting
Cam
and makes
and
me
Allie.
appreciate what you do even more.
Well, thank you very much. You know, they're trying to cover the case in sort of in a way that's, you know, reasonable, rational, and respectful to everybody involved. And then you got these clowns that come in and just bulldoze all the stuff that they've done over because they think it's neato and cool. Yeah, they're not going to get anything done worth a damn over there, okay? That's just the truth. All right, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Right, we're just a regular channel. That's why you come here. But I feel like sometimes you gotta actually call out stuff like that. Is there anybody out there that believes that they would ever just go, that same group of people with the bullhorns, go over to just some almost relatively unknown missing person case that's getting no publicity at all? And the answer is no. There is zero chance. Now, by me saying that, they might have to go prove it, but they'll be, oh, God, we lost all kinds of money on that. Because that's all it's about. Thank you, Mary Glaviano. I mean, you just got to go. You had to see what was going on earlier. It was just a shit show. Okay.
Your channel is really the best.
Well, thanks. I think so. I mean, I don't know, you know. I mean, it's to each his own, right? But that's... Okay, so now we're going to go... I'm going to go back over that probable cause thing again, because I sort of condensed it down onto a text file, and we're going to look at it. Right. Wait, is that good or bad, Brianna Banana? Because if it seems longer, doesn't that mean time wasn't going by quickly? It should be, wow, it's been 3 months? It seems like it was a week. Hey, no problem, Allie Cake. Okay, good. So that's awesome then. It's such a great time, and it's going by slowly. I like that. That's amazing. Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm going to be going over this probable cause again, and then I'm going to switch over to the ones I wanted to talk about the other night, if you don't mind. I mean, were you guys here, any of you guys here on Serial Killer Sunday when we went over the serial killer Rees? Well, in 1985, this person wrote some articles, and I want to go through those because there's a detailed account of what happened. And then there was another case that people thought was his around that same time, and that one's a little bit more like, to be honest with you, I mean, it's got a little bit of a, like Abby and Libby in a park, just two girls, which is rare, those aren't common. But that one's from 1955, and so there you go. But I can assure you, as soon as I switch to that, all the people that are completely Delphi centric, like that's all they think about, they're gonna go, oh, hey, okay, yeah, oh yeah, I heard my dog barking. Oh yeah, I gotta go over to this other place, do something else. All right, try to hang out and learn some new stuff. Okay, there's some interesting cases out there, and the more you go over, the better intuition you have on all the cases. All right, so here we go. Hey, I saw Steph May in here a minute ago, right? How's it going? Just Diet Coke, okay? There's no... Probably need... Here, I got... The light's too bright on my face. There we go. That looks normal. Hey! There you are. Okay, so I'm going to start at the beginning, so it's not ridiculously long compared to some of those newspaper articles. But let's just go through this again. And at the end, let's see what people... If it stood out to you, what stood out to me. Well, you got to switch your settings, Regina. If it got blurry. You got to switch your the little cog wheel, and then you can select higher resolution. But if you're buffering, then you want to switch down to one of those. Hey, hashtag freak family. Okay, here we go. The FBI sent information to the ISP Cyber Crimes Unit that an adult male was soliciting female juveniles utilizing the social media platform Snapchat and Instagram. And as we've found out, there's been various people that remember actually communicating with that person. The adult male was using the username Anthony Shots. Subpoenas were sent to Instagram and Snapchat, so the two companies, for the Anthony Shots account information. The Instagram Snapchat returns provided Comcast IP addresses. I think that's wherever it was created, it probably had an IP address associated with it. A subpoena was sent to Comcast for the IP addresses associated with Anthony Shots accounts, and they returned to in Peru, Indiana. And there was actually, early on in the case, we were all so excited because there was a search warrant being done in Peru, and everybody's like, oh my God, oh my God. Well, it turns out that was that house at that time, which is crazy. Thank you, Alice Patak. Yes, it is. It is with the mission. Thank you. Maybe I can turn it on just in time to... Will it do it? Oh. I don't know. I think I missed it. Yeah, so at the time there was a search warrant put out at a house in Peru, Indiana, and they went there and everybody's excited, but it turned out it didn't lead to anything at the time. The Instagram subpoenas advised that Anthony Shots' account was registered on July 20th, 2016, so about 7 months prior to the murder. And the Snapchat return advised the account was registered on 7/14. So both of them were done right around the same time. Keegan, that's the Keegan Klein. He's the person that put together the accounts and the person that we've seen the last few days. I don't think it's a intentional misdirection, no. I think it's got something to do with it's so weird because when I was talking to Kelsey, we were just talking about in general how
Ray, do you think recent events like the announcement of Anthony_shots could be intentional misdirection on Lee's part for some grander plan or ploy?
No, I don't think it's like a misdirection. I think it was done intentionally to have something, to. I mean, it was weird because we were talking the other day that it seemed like it was intentional that it was 9:30 at night when it was released. What was the point of that? How weird is that? That never happens. I don't remember where I was just going though with my thoughts, but. Oh yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, what I was going to say was, what we were talking about was how all the stuff that we believed, if this turns out to be the real answer, that it was a catfishing situation, then there's just so many things that, I and Robert Ives and the police were saying turn out to not be reality. I mean, and then some of these people, like people have been mentioning, maybe Keegan's father has something to do with it. And so then you have, the father-son scenario. Maybe that was the young sketch, the old sketch, and it'd just be absolutely crazy if all of that stuff that I was actually just going, oh, come on, jeez. Because law enforcement actually, poo-pooed those ideas, for lack of a better term. It's like... Anyways. It'll be amazing, regardless, but, man, I'll feel like, I guess sometimes you have to even look at stuff that law enforcement said isn't true. Like, we know that is true when we're reading, a nude body is found, and... there's no evidence that there was sexual assault. Well, the thing is almost every one of those cases, later on, they say, yes, there was sexual assault. So, that means they did mislead people intentionally. All right. So, Keegan, he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots profile. He finds girls on Instagram and then tells them to talk to him on Snapchat, which is much more secure for him and her, I guess. If, the girl, that means that the whole conversation just goes away. And Keegan admitted to speaking to approximately 15 girls that were underage and advised he probably received pictures from every one of them. Girls range from 15 to 17. Main phone he uses is a white iPhone 5C. So that's what he says. Hey, yeah, my main phone's a iPhone 5C. Multiple electronic devices were seized during the warrant, including an Apple iPhone 4, Apple iPhone 3, Samsung Galaxy SS, Samsung S4, Nextbook tablet, and Apple iPod Touch. But they don't mention the 5C right there. It says here on February 27th. So the warrant was on the 25th, right? But then 2 days later, on February 27th, Keegan contacted the Indiana State Police Cyber Crimes Unit and said he finally located his phone. That pesky phone my primary phone was just missing somehow. But all these other old ones are just sitting around. That wasn't taken during the warrant. Right, because he didn't have it. On March 2nd, 2017, so a further 3 days later, on March 2nd, 2017, the unit obtained the iPhone 5C, so giving him even a few more days to do something. All right, so then the examination of the technology. Apple iPhone 4, Keegan's iPhone, that's what he called it. So his Apple iPhone 4 was called Keegan's iPhone, and it was protected with a pin. The user of the iPhone, him, or whoever, I guess, you don't really know who was using it, portrayed themselves as Emily Ann, 45. The user used Emily Ann identity in 2015 on the Samsung Galaxy S4 device as well. Numerous username and email addresses were located. The user of this device communicated with females and shared media files depicting child sex abuse material. The user also portrayed themselves as a female teen using the name Emily Ann 45. Many of the communications were recovered from Kik Messenger and Snapchat. Media artifacts were also found on this device. There were multiple CSAM, that's the child sex abuse material, and erotica media files which the user saved to the device or shared or received. There were CSAM files that depicted female children, approximately 12 to 17, posing nude and or partially nude and performing a sex act on themselves. There were files located which depicted children between the ages of 3 and 11 engaged in sex acts with adults. Jesus, that's... there were also images showing possible drugs and images showing Keegan with a black handgun. So that's interesting too, because we know in the Delphi case that a gun was used to get them to go down the hill. A lot of people have guns. Found numerous images and videos. Depicted child pornography. It says, the person who wrote this report says, I drew this conclusion based upon the following. The media depicted children engaging or participating in actual or simulated sexual intercourse, and or the media depicted lewd presentation of the genitals or public area of a child, and or the media depicted children participating in lewd behavior or conduct. Oh man. Sorry, every time I sit here, I've got this one of those vents right underneath me. That's weird. All this dust or something was I don't think it's dust. Apparently the little vent was shut down there. I don't know where that comes from, but well, I've got a cough drop in now. See how that works. Yeah, the DNA that was found, the touch DNA that was found, apparently on a shoulder of a jacket, was really weak. That's what we were told. I don't know if that's reality. All right, so that was the iPhone 4 Now the Apple iPhone 3 called Keggy, you know, probably his nickname there. Hey, let me go. I'm gonna take my. Let me get my allergy. Hold on. All right, I think I'm all good now. I did a little Flonase. What does that mean, haircut gray? I don't know what that means. Apple iPhone 3G. It was last used in 2015 on May 23rd. And then Keegan would have been 20. That phone was secured with a PIN code. It had numerous usernames and email addresses. There were no chat conversations from Skype or Kick Messenger recovered. There were multiple still images depicting females posing nude or partially nude. The user saved 200 still images to this device, which contained location data that was embedded into the file. Hey, welcome, Fremont Pathfinders. Fremont Pathfinder. There you go. Approximately 27 of the still images depicted females who appeared to be at least 14 years of age or older. Some of these images depict nude females' breasts, female genitalia. Some of the 27 images were geolocated. So these are all the phones that, that they got from him. Then there was a Samsung Galaxy S5. That was not secured. And it also had numerous usernames and email addresses. There were some chat messages recovered. Facebook, Meet Me, Snapchat. Conversations that took place between February 23rd, 2017 and February 25th, 2017 discussed meeting people in Las Vegas and prostitution. So that's interesting. Now, what does this mean here? Does that mean of a trip that he already had or that he was about to have? It's not really specific here. Because remember, the murder date was February 13th of 2017. And then we've got the Samsung Galaxy S4. Was last utilized on June 25th, 2015. The device was powered on multiple days after this date, but not utilized on those days. So that's kind of weird. Why would you ever power on a phone and never use it? Device was powered on multiple days after this date right here, but not utilized on those days. So he goes and digs up this old phone and then turns it on, or powers it on, but doesn't use it for anything. What does that mean? That's just... And he was 21 at the time. That phone was secured with a wipe pattern and a PIN number. There were many chat conversations recovered from this device. Several conversations appear to be with a female teen, approximately 12 or 13 years old. The user also used two profiles, Keegan Klein and Emily Ann. And that Emily Ann is Keegan's stepsister. So that name, that profile name he's been using is his stepsister. To communicate with female teens, conversations were found on this device where Emily discussed how she had sex with Keegan and his father, but Emily is actually Keegan. It's just crazy. Conversations were found on this device where Emily, which is actually Keegan, discussed how he had sex with Keegan, or she had sex with Keegan and his father at the same time. So that's why people are sort of wondering, well, is the father part of this? Or many of the CSAM file depicted female children 12 to 17 posing nude and or partially nude and performing a sex act on themselves. More still images depicting possible drugs and drug paraphernalia were found on the device. The way the files were named indicated the images were captured by screenshot. Okay, and then we got a Nextbook Premium tablet. Was last utilized on approximately March 9th, 2016. Keegan was 21, so that was about a year prior. Numerous usernames and email addresses. There were numerous chat conversations. Doesn't seem like there's any sexual. Let's see. On Facebook Messenger and suggested the conversation be moved. Oh, there you go. Let me read this. The user of this device used multiple communication platforms, including Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Kik Messenger, MeetMe.com, Skype, and Snapchat. The user of this device initiated conversations on Facebook Messenger and asked or suggested in these conversations to be moved to Kik Messenger or Snapchat. So those are probably two that the messages don't last long. So there you go. I mean, that's just just classic right there. Apple iPod Touch. That one was secured with a PIN number. Had numerous usernames and email addresses. There were multiple still images found on this device that depicted females posing nude and or partially nude and, again, performing sex acts on themselves. The ages of the females were indeterminate. 4 still images of female teens on the device contain location data embedded in the file. The location of the image, oh man, so I wonder if that's one of the things. Hey, take a picture and forward it to me. And then you just look at the metadata and it shows you the location of the person. Oh man. All right, the phone was last utilized on approximately, the Apple iPhone 5C is the last one here. The phone was last utilized on February 27, 2017. Because remember, when they went to the house on the 25th to do the warrant, a mere 10 days, or 12 days after the murders, they were doing a warrant at his house. They got all those other devices, but he didn't have his Apple iPhone 5C. The phone was last utilized on February 27, 2017. Keegan would have been 22. It was secured with a PIN number. The user of this device used Facebook, Instagram, MeetMe, Snapchat, and Twitter to communicate or chat. Much of this data from these applications was deleted from the device. The examination found multiple still images saved to the device that depicted females posing nude, partially nude, and or clothed. The ages of the females were indeterminate. On approximately February 27th at 9:48 in the morning, the user cleared or deleted Safari web browser, the history of it, and website data from the device. Some information was recovered. Let's see. The Apple iPhone 5C deleted multiple items of the phone before turning it into law enforcement. On February 25th, 2017, the search warrant was served on the Klein's resident, and Keegan was interviewed and polygraphed. On February 27th, 2017, Keegan called the Indiana State Police to turn in the iPhone 5C. Hey, thanks, Mama. She 13. Well, convince her not to do it. February 27, 2017, Keegan called the Indiana State Police to turn it in. So, yeah, they went there to get the phone, but it wasn't there. Then after he cleared it all out.
And my 15-year-old autistic daughter doesn't understand why she can't have Snapchat, Twitch, or TikTok, because child, I am not dumb. Woman face palming.
Yeah, well, you should explain it. Show her what goes on out there. So they went to the house on the 25th. They got all those other devices, but the one he uses the most, somehow he didn't have it with him, right? Then on the 27th, he turned it back in. Okay, but on February 25th, the day that they went over, let's see, what time did they go to that house? Hold on a second. What time was that warrant at? February 27th, 20. Anybody know what time that was when they went to the house? I know it was something. Hold on. Thought it said right at the top. I know they went there on served a search warrant at the house, but here's what's interesting. Look right here. On February 25th, 2017, the search warrant was served on the Klein's resident. Okay. On the Klein's resident, and Keegan was interviewed and polygraphed. On February 25th, 2017, at approximately 7:30 p.m., so we don't know what time that warrant was served here. Keegan's polygraph was concluded, and he was transported back to his residence. The digital forensic examination report shows that at approximately 9:19 p.m., the user of the iPhone 5C started... Oh, see, look at that. He had a polygraph test the same day that the warrant was served at 7:30 p.m. Then he was let go, and then at 9:19, he miraculously now has the iPhone and started to uninstall and delete apps from the phone. At approximately 9:19 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Snapchat. At approximately 10:14 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram from the phone. So he was just on a mission now. On February 26th at approximately 1:12 p.m., so that's kind of weird that he waited that long. So he gets home, and then he gets up in the day, and he probably still wants to do a few more little chats he needs to get in. And that's when he deleted Meet Me at 1:12 the next day. The user put Snapchat back on because he was just jonesing to, there was just one. That on his device on February 27th at 1:28 p.m. So this is the day he turns it in, right? And then the user again uninstalled it and deleted it from his phone. So he probably went out to Snapchat and cleared some stuff out of there too. Keegan admitted to using these applications to chat with underage girls. The evidence contained in these applications were destroyed. All right, so here's what I get from this. He knew he was busted, and somehow he allowed them to have all those other devices, knowing that that information was going to be on those devices. But the one phone that he kept and wiped the data off of was the phone that he was using during the time Abby and Libby were murdered. Don't you find that little piece of information to be a little bit concerning, that out of all the other phones and iPads and whatever the hell you got, he let them take them in, look at them, do whatever they wanted to do with them. But the one phone, the one item that he was using most of the time and was using during the time the girls were murdered, he took all this time and deleted everything and waited a couple days and then he turned it in. I think that would be very concerning, as Lori Fisher just typed in, to law enforcement. Okay, so that's what I get out of this whole thing. You know, all the rest is just, yeah, this guy's, he's sick. Yeah, he's sick. But it's the timing of that. And whether or not he was the one using it. But see, here's what I think is possible, is that there's a bunch of people that were using the same account. We were just talking about that last night. Different people using the same account, and that maybe they were sharing information. See what I'm saying? So they might have been sharing information, but he had that information on there, and he goes, "Oh man!" But he deletes the one phone that had murder implications on it. You see, that's what's weird. I mean, out of all those devices, there's like 7 of them. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't have the one phone he uses all the time when they came over to get the warrant. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I wonder what his excuse was of where that phone was. His main phone, he doesn't have with him. But then as soon as he gets out of the... this part all right here is really interesting to me. The rest of it's just, it's the same thing over and over again. Especially right here. So Apple iPhone, he deleted on approximately 2:27. So remember, that's the date that he finally called him up and said, "Oh, I got my phone." At 9 in the morning, the user deleted Safari, the browser. Then he deleted multiple items off the phone before turning it in to law enforcement on February 25th. The search warrant was served on Klein's resident. They didn't give the time. And then Keegan was interviewed and polygraphed. So right then they took him down. They polygraphed him. And then on February 27th, Keegan called the Indiana State Police. So that was the 25th is when the polygraph was. But on the 27th, Keegan called the Indiana State Police to turn in his phone. Oh, yeah, here it is, everybody. It hit the ground and it started deleting things. I apologize. Yeah, but anyways, on the same day that there was a search warrant here, on February 25th, 2017, at approximately 7:30 p.m., Keegan's polygraph was concluded. And he then was transported back to his residence. And then, man, he was probably listening to the tenor of the conversation. He goes, "Oh shit, okay, yeah, they really want my phone." Okay, and then at 9:19, the user of the iPhone started to uninstall and delete apps from the phone. And at approximately 9:19 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Snapchat. At approximately 10:14, I guess that's about almost an hour later, the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram. Those are the two big ones. Snapchat and Instagram. Snapchat is the main one that everybody's talking about, because that's the app that Libby used on the phone, and that's why we have those two images, because those are on Snapchat. And now it's kind of weird, because you wonder if there was some images sent onto Snapchat or via Snapchat but not uploaded prior to that, and then maybe somebody was aware that they were there at that. The whole thing starts getting different now. So at approximately 10:14 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram on the phone. But in between the 25th and 27th, on the 26th, at 1:12 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Meet Me from the phone. The user put Snapchat back on the device because he was probably either wanted to make sure out on Snapchat things were cleared up and deleted, or he was jonesing to talk to another one of these people. At approximately 10:14 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram from the phone. At approximately, hold on. So on 26th at 1:12, the user uninstalled and deleted Meet Me from the phone. The user put Snapchat back on the device And on February 27, 2017 at 1:28 p.m. the user again uninstalled it. So right around 1:12 on the 26th, so he kept it for another 24 hours, and he was probably deleting. Then he uninstalled it from his phone. I don't know, man. That just something doesn't... I mean, I hope you guys feel the same way. It's just, that's just too coincidental a little bit. I mean, I guess it could be that he would have done it to all the phones had he got a heads up that they were coming. But why is the only phone that he didn't give them spontaneously, even though he knew? See, that's the thing. He gave them all of these phones and notebooks and everything, knowing that there was absolutely horrific, damaging information on them. But there was one phone, his normal phone, that he lied about, obviously. He was like, oh, yeah, I don't know where that is. Yeah. I'll have to get it to you. I've misplaced it when I find it. Whatever he said, I don't know. Jeez. Yeah, see, he started uninstalling right after the polygraph test when he got home. So he knew where that phone was. So, there you go. That's really all I wanted to talk about tonight. Because everything else is just, random, wild speculation. This right here is really what happened. Right here. But hopefully there'll be some more news. What do you guys think? Do you think there'll be more news coming out later in the week? Well, iPhones are really secure. They're hard to get into. He must have given them the login information. And yet, the one phone, man, that's just... The one phone that he deleted all the information from was the phone that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were killed. That's pretty crazy. I don't really know what his dad looks like. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have another phone to do that with. I don't know. Yeah. And it was pretty interesting that they had that press conference late at night like that. Yeah, I don't know how much he was on the road. I mean, driving around trying to meet up with people, I guess. Well, I don't know if he's the one, but I think his account, and I think they all shared stuff with each other. I don't know what you're talking about, truthfully. Yeah. I hate when you just say, hey, check out BA. Yeah. Type in what I'm supposed to be looking at. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. No idea. Put what in there? It's posted in BA. Beth put it in there. What does that even mean? Yeah. I think you guys, when you're talking to people in the chat, put like who you're talking to in there. Yeah, definitely girl code, Emily. That's exactly right. 100%. It's only a few people that understand. Well, when was the picture put in there? Can you put it up to the front so I can go look at it? I don't see it. I don't see it. Yeah, I can't see it, so... Yeah, nothing there. I see one of him when he's younger, but... But when I get it here in a minute, I'll show it. I know, it seems like they should have been able to arrest him in 2017, right? I don't know if it's great coverage, Meisterman, but, you know, I'm just going over the document. But thanks. I mean, a lot of people haven't seen... I mean, we've gone over I've been covering the case in videos since February 22nd, 2017, but I literally followed the case the night they were missing. It was all over Facebook. Hey, these 2 girls are missing. You know, so that's when I started following it. And the first 8 days of following the case seemed like an eternity. I mean, when you go back in time, doesn't it, Truth Sleuth? Seems like a million years. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, his dad looks a hell of a lot more like maybe you'd think the guy on the bridge would look like, the killer. He looks a lot like that guy. Fortunately, I can't zoom it in because he gave me a crappy version of it. But if I could blow it up, it would have been cool. Let's see. Maybe I'll open it up in another... Try to paste it into another program. I wish I could see his lower half of his body, though. I don't know what you're talking about, Alchem Algo. I just went over the affidavit just now, the whole thing. I'm sorry you got here late. I went over it, and I went over exactly what I wanted to go over on it, you know. And what I want you to get from it is that he apparently, the only phone he was concerned about and deleted stuff from was the phone that he had during the time that Abby and Libby were murdered. That's interesting. Yeah. I just say whatever. I mean, I don't try to make shit up or anything. Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you, Meister Bob. Man, this guy right here, that's, you know, you could see that guy being the one on the bridge. Honest to God, right there. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. But he might not be anybody, this guy. He could just be the dad of a sick person. Is that the same person? Looks a little different. Yeah, it looks... Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, he's smiling in that one. Anyways. This is the guy. This is Keegan Klein right here. Yeah, well, this guy is... I think he's always been too big, this guy. Well, you know, listen, everybody. You can't say, hey, he looks a lot smaller. We don't know anything about this picture. It's filmed from up here. He looks small because it's shooting down on him. You know, if you had a person that was low taking a shot, you go, wow, he looks huge. I guarantee it. It's the perspective here that makes him look small. So, yeah, I don't know. This is the guy right here, though. That's the in question. This is just his dad at this point. But I mean, maybe if this guy could ever look like his dad, he might be the that size. You might think, I usually don't show pictures like that. I was just. Because his dad's mentioned in that article, I was like, well, yeah, I don't do side by side. Those are totally bogus, by the way. People who do whenever you see somebody do on a YouTube video a side by side of a sketch and a person, never watch them again, okay? Because they're full of shit when they do that. Because here's what I'll tell you. You could take any guy's face. You could take Masterman Bob. You could take my face. You could take Tim. You could take anybody's face and put it next to the sketch and do an overlay and this thing. Oh my God, it looks just like it. Okay, hello, it looks just like it. But here's the thing, everybody, is I've seen 100 side-by-sides where you go, yeah, wow, yeah, it does sort of look like the sketch. And they all do that. Every one of them, all 100 side-by-sides look like the sketch. And then you think to yourself, that's incredible. But here's the catch to it all. As soon as you do a side-by-side by the people, they don't look anything like each other. You know, so that just shows you how general and generic a sketch is. You put all the people that people did the side-by-sides next together, and not one of them looks like the other person. So, pretty crazy, right? I don't know what you're saying, I'll go. Yeah, we know. Let's see. Yeah, it could be him. I don't know. But if it is him, why is law enforcement wanting...
Look, a year ago I was 60 pounds lighter. Depression and stress will get you. I think it could be him. Scared face. Woman shrugging.
Yeah, it could be, but if it was him, why did law enforcement say that they want to communicate with all these other people that communicated with the account? If they really thought it was him, wouldn't they say, this is a person of interest? Is there anybody out there that has communicated with this person right here, but he was using this account? You know, he was using this account with these images of this model, but when you finally met him, was this guy right here the guy that you saw? And then go and associate it with pictures of him from around that time. But they don't do that at all. It's almost like they're trying to find the other people that used the same account and login. That makes sense? Yep, no problem. Yeah, so I don't think, I can't say the dad has anything to do with anything, but it's just interesting how a lot of the things that people would say that didn't match anything that law enforcement was telling anybody, they'd say, do you think the one sketch is a younger guy and the other one's the older person? Maybe it's a father or dad. And, you know, I'm always like, give me a break. So, who knows, man? Maybe this will be one of the times, much like the story. Okay, I'll say it again because a lot of people here are new. But here's another case. We're usually very accurate here. We figure things out, and we when the case is going on, we're like boom, boom, boom. We nailed all those different spots because we got a lot of experience here now. Okay, but the one case that I always use as a reference of like you can never be quite sure was the one where there was like a 17-year-old Hispanic lady that had she was pregnant, she was married, you know, then she just went missing. There was press conferences with the husband, you know, they didn't seem guilty or anything, and then the girlfriend, the wife said she was pregnant, so she disappeared. So, you know, a theory would be maybe that wasn't his kid and she left with somebody else, or, you know, just things like that, right? Just the typical things that you come up with. And we're following it, and then all of a sudden, you know, the story ends up like this. Listen to this. The story ends up like this. On Facebook, she saw somebody advertising a baby carriage. So she goes over to the person's house when she's seen on camera leaving the school the day she disappeared. She's seen on camera going over to the person's house, and what happened to her was, as soon as she got there, she sat down, and then somebody strangled her to death from behind and cut the baby out of her because they wanted it to be their baby. And so they took it to the hospital, and the baby died too. The whole thing was just a freaking... I've never heard anything like it. I couldn't predict something like that. It was insane. So, normally, when you work through cases, you come up with something that's really reasonable and happen, but every once in a while, the really crazy things happen. Yeah, it really was. It was one of the craziest things. Oh, and you want to hear something even weirder, you guys? During that time, there was like a 4 or 5 day period while they were looking for it, they found a newborn baby in that neighborhood on a trash can. You know, like it was just put on a trash can, and we were like, oh my God. But guess what? That wasn't her kid. It was some other person who didn't want their baby and left it on a trash can, and then somebody brought it over to a fire department or something. Can you believe that? Like, what are the odds that wasn't her kid? It was the most incredible thing that you'd ever heard in your life during during that case. Unreal, man. Yeah. I actually forgot about that until just now. But I remember that thinking, oh, well, at least she probably didn't want... I don't know what scenario that would have been, but it was just ridiculous. Yeah. So that's why you can never be 100% sure, and you'll be throwing things. In the Delphi case here, they've been telling us for years that social media didn't play any part. Although I do remember while talking, Kelsey interviewed Doug Carter for the podcast that, I think it's Scene of the Crime podcast, Delphi. You guys should go watch that or listen to it. That one of the questions was anything on the internet or anything? And he said, or do you have anything? Something like that. And he says, we've got a lot. Which was opposite, he didn't say no, where, Robert Ives said when the year that he was there, the social media aspect had nothing associated with it. But maybe that's what they're doing right now, is they're going back and looking at clues that they may have missed. Wouldn't that be incredible if that is true? Because they've had that information on that person this whole time. All you have to do is read this document and think, that is suspicious. Let's look more into this. That would be a little bit strange, but, it just probably... who knows what's going on right now? This might lead to absolutely nothing. I hope it doesn't lead to nothing, but it could just be an investigative angle they're taking, and it literally doesn't pan out, and then they're back to square one again. And then all the other theories are back on the table again, that it was just a psycho killer hunting for prey at the trail. But at this point, now it's seeming more like it was the catfishing angle. Yeah. I think that law enforcement does do tactical. I mean, I was talking to Kelsey a few minutes ago, and she was saying that, maybe they do stuff like, because I wondered the same thing on the show, was when they were telling everybody that social media had nothing to do with it, were they saying that knowing that they think there might be social media, but they want the person to feel comfortable that was using it? And I said the same thing the other night, and then she said the same thing when I was talking to her, and I was like, hey, we think some similar things. What's going on here? Hey, welcome, Rolfie. And welcome, Sarah Burns, to Oogla Boogla Freaks. Welcome to the Freakazoids. So just know that even part of your channel memberships go to the donations we make every month. I was actually thinking of donating some money tonight. What do you guys think if we donate, I don't know, what about we send in $500 tonight to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children? Doesn't that sound like a good, because we're definitely dealing with that right now, even with this idiot. If this doesn't even turn out to be related, it's related. Okay? So here we go. Let's do it. You can actually just type Nickmec in there and it goes right there. Isn't that sweet? Alright, here we go. Let me see. I don't know if this one's a... Let me just get my ID and everything. Alright, you guys have all heard of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's incredible, too. Like, when we're going over some of the cold cases on newspapers.com, they're brought up from years and years ago. I don't like how they default it to monthly, though. They kind of get you sometimes, and you have to call in. All right, so here we go. 500. The thing is, when you do this memory thing, we're just going to do it verbally in honor of them because I don't have their emails and all that stuff. So.
Donate. Heart, 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 heart.
Actually, let me just... All right, I'll bring it back on the screen when I'm done filling it out. Just phone numbers and things. Not that I think you're psychos or anything. But there are psychos that watch, I can tell you that. They made a video for us a while back. Hey, thanks VP and Mama She 13. All right, leave a comment. Okay, we're going to say, well, that's where I'll leave a comment. What do you guys want?
Integrity goes such a long way in
Somebody
this community.
send in a super chat with the comment that they want to put on the leave a comment section. All right, has to be a super chat, though. Come on, let's do it. Come on! And you can leave a comment in the comment section of the Let me see if I can scroll it up. There it is. Right here. Okay? And I can just cut and paste it right out of it. Well, it's hard to paste a bear in there, Sarah Burns, but who's a troll, Truth Sleuth? Yeah, or they just saw that they were there, Candace, doing Snapchat. Yeah, it's hard to copy and paste a bear. Let's be kind and find love. Is that what you want to put in there? I don't know if that works for... this is for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I wanted to do something like in honor of Abby and Libby.
Chewbacca?
I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Let's be kind and find heart.
Hold on a second. So, okay, I'll just come up with my own thing. Nobody wanted to do it. Let's see. All right, how about that? In honor of Abby and Libby and all the young women and girls that have been exploited by monsters around the world. How about that? You like that one? I do. All right, and so this one I have to do bank stuff, but I'll show you the receipt. Okay, so let's see.
Abby and Libby, bless you and family.
Hold on. How do I do? They do have my email. Okay. Oh, there's one. Here, I'll put that at the end. Hold on. So I'll add that. I'll add it. Well, let me go back. Come on. Oh, Jesus. No. I guess I didn't wait long enough. Yeah, I'll just do what you put in there. Actually, I'll say young women and boys exploited by barbarians. Okay, so I said, Abby and Libby, bless you and the family, in honor of all the young women and boys exploited by barbarians. Okay. Alright, gotta enter my card information now, so.
Perfecto.
Thanks, Mama She 13. Not a bot. And just about to hit the button. Alright, so here, I'll move it back over here to hit this part. There we go. And here we go. I'm going to hit the submit button. Okay, I don't know what's going to do next, so I'll take it off the screen, but you saw me hit the submit button. Oh, and there it is. It just says, thank you for your donation, $500. Boom, boom, boom. And see, and in a second here, I should get a receipt coming in. You know, I got to prove it to all the wackos out there that don't ever believe stuff like that. All right, there you go. So here is, this just came in. Here's my inbox. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 12/8 at $500. Okay? All right, you got it? Boom! So trolls, go F yourselves. All right, awesome. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to flip back over to this screen here. And now we've got to update our totals. So this is now 41,500 this year. And then we're going to go down to here. I have to change the scrolling, the Chiron there. Yeah, and thanks to all the new members to the Freak family. So even if I'm an ass sometimes, sometimes, $49.50 now. Okay.
Chewbacca?
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
All right, here
Love
we go.
from the freaks ! !_basic generous.
Yeah, I hate the haters. Thank you. Okay, so here's what we've got: 41,500 for the year, 22,000 all of last year. So the Charlie Project 500, Rain 5,000. That's violence against women. Knickknack now is 49.50. It was 44.50. The Libby Nabby Ballpark is $2,000. The DNA Fund is $22,500, and that's where Daniel Armentrout got identified through that. Texas Equisearch $5,050. Innocence Project $1,000. Polk County Sheriff $500, and there you go. So it's all because of the generosity of the freaks. That comes right out of the income from the channel. It's not like fundraisers or anything like that. All right. So there you go. Boom. Thank you guys very much for supporting the channel. That allows us to do work like that. They actually made a video for us a month ago directly from Knickknack saying how grateful and thankful they were. So I thought that was cool. Kathy Freidenmaker. Alright, so you guys ready to talk about something else for a few minutes? Now you guys can check it out. You'll see that the sub count, the viewer count will drop dramatically. They're going to look around for somebody else that's covering Delphi. But I think these other ones are really interesting, even though they're old. Okay. Let me take a look. Somebody did send me this link though on something that's going on right now. Minneapolis police looking for a woman missing for nearly a week. How old do you think that person is? Yeah, she's like 42. Police have issued an alert as they search for a woman reported missing in Minneapolis. Officers say 42-year-old Christine Beeson hasn't been heard from since December 1st, when she told her family she was planning a trip to Bayfield, Wisconsin, before taking a flight scheduled December 12th. Let me make a folder for this, because this might be something I might go dig in. I'm not going to do much on it now, but I'm just getting it out there. Okay, so we got that. And they're saying she was planning a trip to Bayfield, Wisconsin. So her name is so unusual that I'm kind of thinking that if I put her name into Ben Verified, it'll be, you can just do, it'll be the only one in the United States. I can't imagine that being more than one of those. Let's see. Well, there's, okay, 42 says Wisconsin, so that's going to be the one. There's more, but there's actually more than I was thinking there was going to be. Okay, so the current address that she has says Minneapolis. So let's put that in there, her house. So that looks more like a place of work right there, doesn't it? That look like an apartment? Yep, that's what that is. And then there's actually relations to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So it's gotta be her, I would think. My wife's putting all the stuff on the Christmas tree and everything, so. Alright, so the 42-year-old Christine Beeson hasn't been heard from since December 1st. Yeah, it does say Minneapolis right here. So that's probably got the right one. When she told her family she was planning a trip to Bayfield, Wisconsin. So she was planning on going, that's probably, I bet it's not far away. Yeah. It's definitely not 2 miles away. So there's Bayfield, Wisconsin. Yeah, so actually it doesn't look that far. What, a couple hundred miles maybe? Not even that. Oh, 100, yeah, so 175 miles, or maybe 200 driving. So, however, police say Beeson never arrived to that place, and her whereabouts are currently unknown. Officers say Beeson may be driving a white 2008 Volkswagen convertible with the plates 337 WAC. God, I think we talked about this one. Ashley Miller. Let's see if there's any updates just right now. Yeah. Ex-hockey. She's a hockey player? Oh, field hockey, I bet. A 42-year-old Minneapolis woman has not been seen or heard from since December 1st. According to a flyer being shared widely on social media, Christine Beeson was last seen December 1st with the intentions of heading to Bayfield, Wisconsin for a visit. The missing person flyer says Beeson never made it, though she was last known to be driving that vehicle. She is described as 5'7", 130 pounds, with dark hair, brown eyes, and beauty mark on her left side of her face. According to the University of Wisconsin, I think that's that different. Oh yeah, Wisconsin Eau Claire. Yeah, that's interesting because that was the other address she had in there. Let me get the, yeah, right here. So this is apparently where she lived in 2007, and then she would have been in her 20s at that time. Right, so this is where she lived in 2007 in Wisconsin. Hey, welcome. Oh man, is that the Eve EP that I saw the other night? Come on. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, and this address is also from around that time. Yeah, so I guess she just lived in these areas, so she's familiar with here. I'm kind of wondering, there's a lot of water. I mean, Minnesota, you know, it has a million lakes going around. I mean, it's just everywhere there's a lake. That's pretty funny. She's also lived in Memphis and North Carolina, St. Paul, Minnesota. But apparently in January of this year, she was living in those apartments that I just showed you. So what you could do is do a, so she was heading to, let's try doing driving directions from, alright, I can get that. I'll put that in there as the starting address. And then she was heading to Bayfield, Wisconsin. So that would be the route, like if you just put it in your phone and then you just follow this along. Is there anything that's crazy where it goes right along the water at any point? Now there's a spot, you know, like you could say right here she's going a little too quick over that turn and boom, right in the water right there, right? So water, I could definitely see somebody doing that here. Let's just see what it looks like to see if that's even possible. There's even another road over here. Like if you're just zipping around at night, you're not paying attention and you just fire off through there. We've had other cases like that, but there's one. Then you travel along. That would be difficult to go into one of those. That would be, somebody would have seen a car in that one. Alright, so now we're getting into more spots, like right here. Just saying maybe, you know. Or let me put water on there. Maybe my mind said to put vehicle because that one seemed... Yeah, it could have been all kinds of stuff like that, but I go for what's most likely first. Ramarin speaks. Everything isn't nefarious. Yeah, we all know that there's those other chances. But what's more likely is some of these people, they just drive and their car flies off of the road. They're not paying attention for a moment, and they go right in the water. Have you noticed all the cars being found recently with people in them? And they're from like 50 years ago. It's crazy. And that put one there. Here, hold on. I gotta go turn that. Man, I gotta get something figured out down here with the vent. I don't know. My eyes started getting all red and watery. Alright, let me see. What do you got here? Not that one. Is that making you guys dizzy right there? I wasn't even planning on doing this, but now I want to, so. And we'll get right to those other ones here in a minute. And then I'll see if there's anything else out there. I think if it went in there, somebody would have seen it, so I wouldn't count that one. God, who made these roads? How about make a straight line every once in a while? My God. It's probably like double the distance. Alright, well, those are where I would think, where I put those pins. You know, maybe look in some of those spots. One day ago. About 24 hours. 12 hours ago. Maybe watch that video there, see what happens. What's on YouTube? Well, that's a.
Hello, YouTube.
That's
Welcome to Life.
That's somebody's web. That's somebody's YouTube. If it was the news, I might have played it out to the side, but. Yeah, it's always makes you nervous when. And she even had a plane tickets to fly on the 12th to go somewhere else. So she wasn't planning on not being alive. She had plane tickets to fly on the 12th, and she was going to be driving up to that. What was the name of that place? Bayfield, Wisconsin. And she never made it there. So somewhere on the way, something happened to her. Either her car went in the water, or something nefarious happened to her on the side of the road. Or her car could have just went off the side of the road and hit a tree in the woods down a bank, and nobody saw it. So, I mean, she appears to be pretty attractive, so she may have caught the attention of a psycho. There's psychos everywhere. We covered a story one time where, I mean, I bring this up a lot because, even recently, because you guys, you know, the girls that get out of the car, when they're getting a fight, they jump out of the car. But, you know, the guy got in a fight with her boyfriend, a girl got in a fight with her boyfriend, and she jumped out of the car And then they were both drinking, so he was kind of mad, and he drove away. And then she got picked up by a serial killer, just in that little bit of time, you know. So the thing is I think stories like that prove to you that there's a lot more of the psychos out there than anybody really. I mean, there's a hell of a lot more psychos than you want there to be. I don't think it's like dangerous to be walking down a street, but a lot of really sick people in the world. That's for damn sure. All right, so let's keep an eye on this one. If you find any updates, let me know. That's just where I'm going to guess right now those spots that I picked if her car in fact did go off. And that might be why you don't see the car either, because nobody's reported finding her vehicle at this point. Doesn't sound like she would have not, bought it. Why would you buy a plane ticket to be going somewhere and then not intend to use it? Okay, here we go. Now we're going to move on. So I'm going to go back to the case that we were talking about the other night. So here's the deal. This is how this worked. So after the show was over, I was thinking, there's got to be, I got to find some more on this. And I do have a subscription here. Hold on, where is the, yeah. There we go. Okay. Go back to it now. Yeah, so I was reading it in this article, but I think it was right at the top. Yeah, this is 1995. There was something I was reading in here. So this is the serial killer. Remember this guy? Melvin Rees. So this is a guy that would drive his car around, and he didn't even care if it was a full family of people. He would drive around and force the family off the road somehow, either by pretending he was a police officer or something. And they would be forced off the road. And then he would kill everybody, but he would sexually assault the mother. Like, he'll kill a whole family, all the kids, everybody. And then he would just do it again. I mean, he's absolutely a monster. I mean, he kept trying to do it over and over again. There was other people that said, oh yeah, he tried to pull me off the road. I mean, just a sick person. Yeah, we were looking at that picture right there. I don't know if I have the article, but there was an article that mentioned, might have been 1990, that mentioned it was a 1985 article that mentioned an article that was written 2 weeks prior about the killing, and it went into great detail, and I couldn't find it in newspapers.com. I could find the author, I could find anything. So I eventually found, this is what's crazy. This is what takes up all my time. I eventually found a website of the actual newspaper that it was supposed to be in, and then that led me to a archive thing that I had to pay money to, and then once I got there, I was able to find the articles that they were referring to in another newspapers.com article. Pretty crazy. So here's how it starts off, right here. So I bought, you know what sucks though? It said, download one article, right? So what does that mean to you? Well, I can download an article. Okay, so I downloaded the first page, and I go to the second page, and it says you need to put more, $3.99 more in. So then I was like, what the hell? So I did another one, and then I go, screw it. So then I bought a 24-hour pass, and then I went and got all the ones that I needed. It was so stupid, though. Like, you couldn't do page 2 of the article. So it's kind of... That's misleading, isn't it? You should say you can download 1 page of an article. So if it's 4 pages, you're going to have to pay that 4 times. Yeah. So here we go. Let's go. This right here, I think, goes over in detail the incident with the family that was murdered. I think it was the Jackson family, if I remember correctly. So here we go. The prisoner had not had visitors in almost a decade, so this is a reporter going in to talk to Melvin Rees Jr., the psycho. And his murders took place back in 1959, I believe. The prisoner had not had visitor in almost a decade. This room is unfamiliar to me, he said. Beyond the window in the prison's visiting room, snow swirled lazily to the ground, a distraction that he viewed indifferently, but one that helped fill an occasional awkward silence. My mother, she was the last one I had, the last visitor he had. She came about 8 years ago, the prisoner said, but she is too old now, 84. The two still communicate. This is 1985, this article. The two still communicate. She in typewritten letters in an erratic, longhand script that sometimes jerks nearly off the page, a result, he said, of years of drug therapy that have left him palsied. So they've been putting him on all kinds of drugs. I used to go outside sometimes when the seasons change, he went on, shifting his gaze from bothersome glare of the snow covering the Missouri landscape. I like to note the change in the trees. But I haven't been outside now in 2 years, except once, about a year ago, to get warm because of the air conditioning. I'm just not interested. The blue eyes were flat, almost lifeless. The baritone voice droned on, interrupted by limp infections that fought to salvage it from monotony. Now, Melvin David Rees, Jr., a quarter century ago, the name filled the front pages of the country's newspapers in banner-sized type. J. Edgar Hoover personally announced his arrest, one that solved the mystery. I didn't know that part. I only focused in on the local newspaper. So this happened in Virginia and Maryland at the time. There's a couple different. He killed a couple different people. He was never. He admitted to killing 2 other women, but he was never charged for them. And so they've written that case off too. So it's at least he's good for, I think, 5 to 9 people, they say. All right, let's see. Yeah, quarter century ago, the name filled the front pages of the. So J. Edgar Hoover announced the arrest. Hoover personally announced his arrest, one that solved the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Louisa County family in January 1959, and concluded an 18-month nationwide search that sought a man who had put much of the East Coast in fear. The maniac must be found, a Richmond newspaper editorial headline pleaded. Soon after, 4 bodies of the Carroll V. Jackson Jr. family turned up in crude, shallow graves near Fredericksburg and Maryland. A Fredericksburg paper called it Virginia's most celebrated crime. Rees at first seemed an odd find. After his arrest, the professional dance band musician was described by a Hyattsville, Maryland neighbor as a very quiet, reserved, well-mannered gentleman. His parents were exemplary people, friend said. Juries in federal court in Mary. Okay, I got to go to that one. So I've got the second page of that one. I know that one of these articles goes really into the details here. So they're all really long, though. It's crazy. So, anyways, if you want to bear with me, I'm going to go through all these because we got to finish off that serial killer story here. All right. So, Maryland and Spotsylvania County, Rees received 2 concurrent life sentences in federal court for the beating deaths of 27-year-old Mildred Jackson and her 18-month-old daughter. In the subsequent Virginia case, he was convicted of the murder of the father of Carol V. Jackson, Jr. He was sentenced to die in the electric chair at the Virginia State Penitentiary on April 6, 1962. That's when they used to just, boom. All right. Prosecutors chose not to try him in the death of the second daughter, 5, whose body was found lying beneath her father's. Yeah, so that's the part that really... So there's a 5-year-old daughter, or what was it, 5? I don't think she was 5, was it? No, 18-month-old daughter. I think they've got this backwards right here. I think the 5-year-old was with Mildred, and the 18-month-old was the one that was underneath him. So remember that? I think this is backwards in this article. The little infant, when he was shot in the head, he fell on top of the 18-month-old baby. I think a 5-year-old could have figured out a way to get out. 18-month-old child had no chance, and it actually died of suffocation underneath him. I mean, it's just brutal. But the man whose name once set off impassionate pleas that justice be carried out to the fullest extent has also been entangled in a criminal justice system fallen into limbo. For 20 years, in a case that is virtually unprecedented, the U.S. Supreme Court has taken no action on an appeal by Rees to overturn his murder conviction in Virginia. The court concluded that it would not act until Rees, who earlier had been judged incapable of assisting in his defense, is competent. And they've been drugging him. Now he's like... No one formally associated with this case has sought to determine Rees's legal mental status. In the intervening years, his appeal, Rees versus Payton, have been left upon the Supreme Court's active docket since it was first filed in June 23, 1965. Hell, that's the year I was born. I mean, that's a long time ago. In his last legal memorandum on the case, in March 1967, the Virginia Attorney General Office urged the court to proceed to do otherwise will leave this case in legal limbo, which would continue until Rees' demise by natural causes. The state argued that as long as Rees remained criminally insane, no efforts would be made to execute him. But it also warned that if Rees's conviction should be set aside by the High Court, it should be done promptly, while the witnesses are still available for a retrial. Rees, now 56, shuffled for a generation from prison to prison, from jail to jail, has been under the sentence of death in Virginia since January 4th, 1962, longer than any man in state history. Yeah, so let me I think I'm going to skip over to I want to read about the part where it has the, where it goes over his, I think he confesses in prison right here. So this is right here. Rees ends denial and relives the horror. Okay, so this is the part that has the details of the case. The other stuff's like legal shit. And eventually they, they took away the death penalty, and he ended up just dying of cancer in prison in, I believe, 1995 or something like that. All right, so here we go. This is the Rees ends denials, relives horror. I knew I was going to be found out even when I was doing it, Melvin Rees, Jr. said. I was ready to perish, I guess. With that simple statement, Rees, now 56, dismissed any doubt about his guilt for crimes that he has never before publicly admitted a guilt that he challenged through court trials spanning 18 months and through appeals that even now, after almost a quarter century, still are unresolved. There is nothing to hide, he said in a series of interviews. On January 11, 1959, it was as if the earth had parted and swallowed whole the Carroll V. Jackson Jr. family in the dark of a rural Virginia night. See, what's crazy about when they got killed, if you guys remember, it was like they were just going to go visit friends, this whole family of 4, and then the friends weren't home, so they went to the wife's mother's house, so the in-laws of the dad, and they were there for like 20 minutes, and then we're just going to drive the 20 minutes or so that it takes to get home, and then they just disappeared off the face of the earth, although they found their car, and their whole family was abducted from that vehicle, and this monster drove them somewhere, and he killed them and buried them in shallow graves, and it was just, it's sick. So I guess this is going to describe all of that. Alright, so here we go. Jackson, 29, was a heavy-set farmer, so that's the father, and feed store employee who had lived all his life in Louisa County near the tiny community of Apple Grove. Mildred, his wife, and a high school sweetheart, was active in church work. She was 27 years old, so he was 29. And there were 2 daughters, Susan Ann, 5, and Janet, 18 months. They vanished that Sunday night after visiting relatives and heading for a home 15 miles away on State Route 609 in Louisa. It was 9:30. Their empty car was found that night on the road, parked at a slight angle with the keys in the ignition. I think they thought, so this is Rees talking now, I think they thought I was police, Rees said, describing how he pulled his car alongside the Jacksons and forced it into the side of the road. I just got out and waved the gun. As hundreds searched for the family, the horror began to unfold. On March 4th, 2 men looking for garden compost found Jackson's body, his hands bound with his necktie, buried in a sawdust heap near Fredericksburg. He had been shot once in the head with a .38 caliber revolver and had been beaten. His baby daughter, Janet, and is that what they have here? Yeah, see, I was right. That's the 18-month-old. Okay, his baby daughter, Janet, dressed in a Sunday school red and white pinafore, lay beneath him. A medical examiner determined that she had died of suffocation. That's brutal. And exposure, probably a result of being pinned alive beneath her father's body. I mean, think of how horrific that is. He was alive for a long time under there and just couldn't get out, being so tiny. 16 days passed. On March 21st, in the small Anne Arundel County, Maryland, community of Gambrels near Annapolis, the body of Mrs. Jackson and Susan Ann turned up. The daughter, her head beaten, was found lying on top of her mother in a shallow grave. Alright, now we're going to get it. Miss Jackson also... Just going to open up the next page. Crazy though, right? Yeah. Miss Jackson was also apparently beaten, had a stocking knotted around her neck in a fashion similar to a harness. Neither had been sexually molested, according to a medical examiner's finding. But in a shack not far from the bodies, investigators found walls plastered with pornographic illustrations. I bet they were. They just didn't want to put that out there. They do that a lot back then, specifically. I had been awake several days on amphetamines, Rees said. His mind reached back 26 years for details. I would stay awake for 4 or 5 days at a time. I was thinking about the musical engagement I had to get to in Washington that night. So he had to get to a musical engagement that night in Washington, and all of a sudden I felt sort of collapse, he said. I just wanted to fly off into space. I don't know if anything took over exactly. There certainly was some sexual orientation because of the magazines I had been reading, he said. The smallest one, 18-month-old Janet, I had lost track of. I didn't even remember it. It was in the arms of one that got shot in the head. So the baby was in his arms. He got shot in the head, fell forward, and buried and covered her. And I had no recollection of it being there or what happened to it. The other one, 5-year-old Susan Ann, I didn't know what to do. It slept in the trunk. It. You know, notice he keeps saying it all the time. It slept in the trunk, or Reese's car, all night. Then in the morning, it came out of the trunk and wandered where her mother was. And I didn't know what to do, and she started hollering, and oh man, that's just, oh, we didn't know this at all. That's crazy. Wow. Then in the morning, it came out of the trunk. So that the other 5-year-old was still sitting in the trunk and wandered where her mother was. And well, I didn't know what to do. And she started hollering and crying, and she ran out of this little piece of a house. And I picked up a 2x4 and hit her in the back of the head. Jeez. I didn't know what to do. I was exhausted, you know. She was very complacent about it, Rees said, of Mrs. Jackson's murder, which Rees said was an attempted strangulation that failed because the stocking around her neck could not support her. She fell to the floor on her face. They tried to say I struck her, but I never struck her. Well, who gives a shit, Rees? I mean, you're a barbarian. They didn't get all the facts right, you know, because what I did was... I mean, what a dipshit, you know. They lied in court. They said I struck her, but no, I didn't. I just strangled, you know. Like, it just... Yeah, how about you shut the hell up and just... If you want to tell your story, you know. She was very complacent about it, Rees said, of Mrs. Jackson's murder, which Rees said was an attempted strangulation. I haven't read this yet, by the way. I just knew that it was going to go into detail based on that first sentence. That failed because the stocking around her neck could not support her. She fell to the floor on her face. They tried to say I struck her, but I never struck her, he said. The fall left her unconscious, he said, and she never revived. I don't believe that at all. I recall her looking up into the sky, praying, a silent prayer. Her lips moved. Rees said he also prayed after the murders. I looked up in the sky and I said to a gray blinking sky, now you see what I've done? Will you just strike me dead? Ugh, poor guy. You know, he's starting to sound like Kemper now, you know. Hey, yeah, I'm really getting into the Bible, you know. So, yeah, you should have thought of that when you were having sex with your mom's head. You ever thought of that, Kemper? Do you think God's up there saying, you know, he's doing pretty good now. He's reading the Bible, but it's, you know, it's a little difficult for me to look past what you were doing before you started reading it. Yeah, Rees said he also prayed after the murders. I looked up at the sky and said to a gray blinking sky, now you see what I've done? Will you just strike me dead? If only. He showed up the next day in Washington on time to teach a music lesson. I mean, this guy was a school teacher. looking haggard and disheveled, according to testimony in his trials. That's what I was worrying about, Rees said, trying to keep up appearances. Yes, that's a B flat there. And just a minute ago, he was bashing a 5-year-old in the head with a 2x4. Yeah, that's... Hey, hold on a second. Okay, got my eye appointment on the 13th. Okay. The Jackson family was laid to rest side by side in a small family grave at Apple Grove. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, the Reverend Garris long pleaded, imagining the killer or killers who had snuffed out the lives of the victims. A Richmond newspaper editorial was less benign until the police and FBI arrest and the courts convict the maniac who put to death the 4 Jacksons of Louisa County. The people of Virginia cannot feel safe. The people of Virginia waited a long time. 18 months after the disappearance of the Jackson family, a 24-hour-a-day investigation that brought 1,500 people under suspicion was international in scope, and at one point employed the use of a psychic, finally produced results. Rees, a District of Columbia native who had lived most of his life in nearby Hyattsville, Maryland, was arrested June 24, 1960 by FBI agents in West Memphis, Arkansas. The professional musician, 31 years old, had been living there with a girlfriend and working in a piano store. It seemed to me to be sort of a dirty trick, Rees said in a recent interview, recalling the way an arrest agent offered to shake his hand while another came up behind him with handcuffs. Oh, that was brilliant. The dirty trick? What are you talking about? What an idiot complaining about that. Jeez. Rees's downfall came at the hands of Glenn Leroy Moser, a longtime friend who had suspected and tipped off police. The day of Rees's arrest, that's what they need in the Delphi case. The day of Rees's arrest, FBI agents searched Rees's parents' home in Hyattsville, hidden away in the house and locked in an accordion case. They found a .38 caliber revolver and what would come to be called Rees's death diary. It allegedly described in graphic detail the abduction of the Jackson family, their murders, and sexual molestation of Mrs. Jackson. So, see what I'm saying? That happened. They say it didn't, but it did. The discovery of the diary was widely publicized but never allowed into evidence, although heavily edited portions of it appeared in Rees's federal indictment. Rees, who had been questioned by the FBI weeks before his arrest, held out hope, he said, that he would not be caught. He talked with his girlfriend. She said, "Let's see if there is a chance. We'll stuff the doors and turn on the gas if worst comes to worst." Why would the girlfriend even know about this? That's crazy. Things just moved too fast to carry out the pact, Rees said. And when he read in the newspapers that the diary had been found, I withered inside, he said. The trials, one in federal court in Baltimore for the deaths of Mrs. Jackson and her elder daughter, and a subsequent trial in Spotsylvania County for Jackson's murder, consumed 18 months. Rees received 2 concurrent federal life sentences in Maryland and the death penalty in Virginia. A Spotsylvania County jury spent a mere 28 minutes deliberating his fate. I didn't even have any friends I could talk to, Rees said. God, do you guys have a violin I could play for this guy? I didn't have any friends I could talk to, Rees said. Mulling over his childhood, much of it spent in military schools. in later years that gave way to time in the service education of University of Maryland, a broken marriage that produced a son he had not seen in 28 years, and a life spent on the road as a nightclub musician. God, what a tragedy. Oh wait, but you created a tragedy for thousands of other people. Yeah. His aspirations was to play in a major swing band. The Jacksons were not the only people to die at his hands, he said. There were 3 others. So here we go. He described in detail the June 26, 1957 shooting death of Mrs. Harold H. Harold. See, that's that crazy one. They were in the car with the military officer. He came up and said, "Oh yeah, I work here. Yeah, I work here at the park." And then the military officer got out of the car, and he was talking to him. And then Rees said, "Hey, can I get a ride to the road?" And the military officer said, "Well, they said no," but then he jumped in the car. Rees did, and then he was in the back seat, and then he told them to put their hands behind their back around the seat. So they had to put their hands behind the seat and around, and then I can't remember what it was. There was something like some comment that was made, and then he shot her in the back of the head. Rees shot the female in the back of the head, and then the military guy jumped out and ran, so he was a witness. But that just shows you this guy is psycho. So the Jacksons were not the only people to die at his hands, he said. There were 3 others. He described in detail June 26, 1957 shooting death of Mrs. John H. Harold Jr., a 36-year-old Baltimore woman who was killed sitting in the car not far from Grahamsville. Yeah, so we actually mapped that sucker out. It was really... Remember how close that was to the... Hold on. Wow, where's my serial killer? Man, I have that many... There it is. Serial Killer Sundays. Where is he? I don't see him in here. Let me type in... there he is. I guess it was just way down. Mary Elizabeth Seller. No, it was Margaret Harold. Yeah. So, yeah, isn't this crazy? So this is where the Harold was attacked. And then I think right over in this area is where the bodies of the Jackson mother was found, I think. But it's literally, I think it was only 3 miles away. Yeah, 2.62. Yeah. So, let's see. June 57 shooting death of Mrs. John H. Harold Jr., 36-year-old Baltimore woman who was killed sitting in a car not far from Grahamsville, charged with murder. In the case, Rees was never tried. The first murders, he said, occurred in June of 1956. The bodies of 2 nude Maryland teenagers, we covered those too, and assigned them to him because he confessed to them, but he was never charged. It was Mary Elizabeth Fellers and Shelby Venable were found that month in a small tributary. That's not really true. They were 10 miles apart. One was in the river, basically. The other one was in a creek. Mary Elizabeth Fellers, Shelby Venable were found that month in a small tributary of the Potomac River in Loudoun County, Virginia. Rees said he picked them up in his car. So now we get to hear about that one. He picked them up in his car while they were waited for a bus. Wow, remember that? Remember that? They were waiting for a bus to go back to, I believe it was Venables' house. He was questioned after his arrest in Memphis about the 2 killings, but was never charged. Rees described the murders as drug-induced escapades that were awful, intensive, and horrifying. It is me doing this, he said he recalls asking himself in the midst of the Jackson killings. I just kept on taking more pills and kept on going. It was like, well, I spent 10 years on amphetamines and it reached a climax. I had everything going. As a musician, I was successful. As a student, I'd finished the university. Amphetamines drove me to read detective magazines and pornographic literature, and gradually it developed into sort of a compulsion. It's not hard to live with because I've been forgiven for it. Oh yeah, because you're reading the Bible now? Through the religious salvation, Rees said, when he was asked if he holds remorse for his victims. For others, the crimes will never be passed by. I spent almost 2 years of my life looking for him, and another, to going through the trials, recalled former state police captain C.M. Lindsay, retired for 15 years. Now, but who led the Virginia investigation of Rees? Yeah, so I'm not reading that with the right inflection. It was too long of a run-on sentence there. Let me try it again. I spent almost 2 years of my life looking for him, and almost 2 going through the trials, recalled former state police captain C.M. Lindsay, retired for 15 years now, but who had led the Virginia investigation. Oh, shit. I still have a seat reserved to witness his execution. I will be there if it ever takes place. Wow. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. Isn't that just insane? I mean, picture you with your husband or wife, and you got a couple of kids in the back of your car, and you're just driving, and somebody waves you down with a gun, and then everybody's dead. And the horror and fear they all felt up until that point. And there was no reason. There's no, nobody hated somebody or anything. It's just a psycho serial killer. And then those 2 girls, they were going to go to the hospital to visit one of the family members, but it was too late. So they decided to take the bus back to the other friend's house. And while waiting at the bus stop, he came up, abducted both of them, and their nude bodies were found 10 miles apart. One was found in the Potomac River, and the other one was found in a creek 10 miles away. And it's ludicrous. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get on to the last one, but first we've got to do an Apple session, because I know we're not talking about Delphi, and when you're not talking about Delphi, everything slows down. Notice there was 500, now there's 433, because it's just not quite... Ready? All right, you guys. Who is going to help out the channel by I gotta get a real one myself. You help out the channel by purchasing a byte, or even a byte, taking off the stem, and that's how we're able to do what we do during the month and at the end of the month. All right. Well, the stem's still... Oh, there goes the stem. Okay. The stem's gone. Hey, all right. Got a couple more bites in here. We got Eugenie and Perry Mom. Here we go. These are bites. Now listen, here we go. And it sounds about like that when you're biting into a Honeycrisp. Here we go. All right, there we go. There we go. You can see the cute fur of Chloe behind there. There's Jessica Schubach. Here's a real bite. Listen. That was pretty close. Huh? Yeah. Well, earlier we donated $500 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And yes, when you guys send in super chats, channel membership, it does help my channel out. But I donated about, I'd say 50% after I add PayPal to it of the YouTube channel revenue. After, you know, the net revenue. So when you're sending super chats here, you're not. It's going to something good too. And hell, if you think I'm good, then that's good too. Thanks, Angela Alex and Teresa Ann. There we go. There we go. You know what's weird is the camera makes Chloe look so much whiter than she is. Hey, what about me, Perry Mom? Gee.
Thank you, Perry Mom. Gee.
You're not Chloe.
Oh, that's right.
Mary Lou thought she was Chloe for a minute. Huh? Where is it? Oh, there's Jessica Schubach again. Thank you. I don't see EVP's comments. Weird. Strange. Poor Chloe. Nobody wants to see Chloe. Oh well. Just doing a break here. Well, hey, it lasts as long as it takes for people to take the bites out of it. The third. You know? There's just a few bites that you gotta take. But I'll sure make it as long as possible if it'll get you to not watch. Yeah, this is how, you know, there we go. It's a way to bring in super chats so that we can keep doing what we're doing at all times. We've donated $41,500 this year to charities, and that's become part of what we do here. And there you go. Yeah, I am friendly. What's worse is when you get a passive aggressive jackass who asks how long something's going to take. Yeah, that's even worse. All right, so we got Teresa Ann and Carolina Girl. There we go. And the last one will be gone here. Right, I see. Right. All right, there we go. And let's see if you can see them all. And Oh, shit. You guys have to start over. Just kidding. There we go. See. Come on. Play with it. They're like, why? I don't want to. Do you see that yawn there? Hey, thanks, Linda Howell and Mad Crocheter. Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Wow. How long does this process take with the apple? Okay. Thank you. Okay, let me do a guess. Okay, let me do a poll here. Who's cuter, Chloe or me? I'm just kidding. Chloe or Blue? That wasn't what I was going to do. Here we go. And there we go. There's the question for the dogs. Here we go. Which one is cuter there? Come on, Blue, do your thing, man. Come on, Blue. Yeah, not me. I know that. Yeah. You know, I can't see that person, the EVP person that you're talking about. I don't see her profile in here. Her comments, they don't show up. Oh, there it is. Oh, well, hey, thanks. Thanks for that. Let me go look. No, I guess I could see it. It was just really long. I didn't realize it was at the end. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thanks for the PayPal there. True Crime Paranormal with EVP. Man, that's it takes some guts to come in here because we're not EVP people, you know. I even have a funny. Here's how EVP works. Watch this. Here we go. Listen. Watch this. Oh, wait a stupid. You hear that? Stupid. It said stupid. There's somebody else out there. Oh, batshit. You hear that? Right? And it said batshit. Did you hear that? No, you're not blocked. I can see you. You hear that? It said batshit at the end. Did you guys hear that? I'm not kidding. I heard it. Do it one more time. Listen. See, at a hut. The first part said, listen. It says at a hut. Listen. Oh, you guys hear? So it's in a hut somewhere. Yep. Stupid. Yeah. Oh, you hear a dog bark there? You hear that? Batshit? Oh, God. Definitely says that.
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have the sound effect just for that reason. I've had it for a long time.
You know, that's just one step above stupid.
Wait, hold on.
Evil can never be dead enough.
That's okay. Yeah, well, I know. Well, here's the thing. The way EVP actually works, though, is you get people that are, you know, generally pretty good at figuring out, like, what's going on in a crime. And then they come up with a rational theory. And then when they play the EVP sound, they tell everybody what they're hearing, and they force people to hear certain words, right? Like, hey, look at that. Get your dress. You know, you could say anything you want. Like if you said the word Rees, let me just read right here. 18 months right here. It would go, and you go, oh, look at it. Say 18 months. You hear? Oh yeah, I hear it too. Yay! You know, it's like pointing out a rabbit in the clouds, right? You know, I can't help what I see. I see a rabbit. Well, it's not really a rabbit, right? So you're not hearing anything at all, but what you can do is you can make the sounds fit the story that you've already built, and it has a chance of actually being rational and make sense to somebody. So that's what I always tell people. That's how it works. I mean, because you always wonder about is when you're doing the EVP, why doesn't the ghost just say, oh yeah, that the killer is Jim Smith, instead it's wouldn't it be cool though if yeah, wouldn't it be cool though if the ghost just said, hi, yes, I saw it. The killer's name is Jim Smith. They live at 327 East Broadway Street. Thank you. Instead, it's now you guys talk about girl code, man. That is like, if you can decipher that shit, man, you've got it all. Yeah. Anyways, all right. I'm going to go on to the next stories here. What we should do is go through a story, come up with a theory, and then I'll play that same EVP sound, and we'll have it relate to the good theory that we came up to. I'm just flipping you crap, but yeah, this is a I don't mind you watching the channel, but you're gonna have, if you do watch the channel, you're just gonna have to realize that I do bash EVP and basically psychics in general, because especially the guy that sent the crime. He took the dress at a crime scene and sent it to a psychic. That was the only piece of evidence they had, and the psychic, well, they lost it. Hey, Sassafras, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. You know what I'm saying? So you actually believe that shit, Sassafras? Wow. Whew. Yikes. That's scary. Here's the thing. I don't mind losing channel members or any subs at all if you believe in that kind of stuff. Like, if it offends you that I bash them, then you can just get the hell out of here. I don't care at all. Doesn't bug me a bit. But if you're okay with me doing that, because that's what I've been doing forever on this channel, because that's the truth. I'm telling you the truth, So that's just what I do. And if it offends you, then it's just not going to be the place for you. You get what I'm saying? All right. Awesome. It doesn't work out well. It doesn't work out well at all when somebody tells me to give something a rest. Okay, it's not going to work out well for you on the channel. Okay, because I'm going to do whatever the hell I feel like doing. All right? Including mukbang. All right, well, good. The true crime paranormal. Good. Yeah. What happened, Rita? Yeah. Yeah, they can never do it. Prove themselves. Well, that's not true. Back in... Yeah. Keep chewing. Okay, here we go. That's gonna be my last one. Yep. Well, see, I have a channel called, I haven't used it in a long time, but it's called Personal Paranormal Experiences. But that channel is really just for the people, like, those times where you're doing something And something really weird. Okay, like my story is, and it's a true story. When I was in, 1986, my brother died at the University of Oregon Theta Chi fraternity. He was playing basketball, went upstairs, passed out somehow, and his heart was beating funny. Anyways, he passed out, and he died. And then the next year, it was raining outside. It was March 13th. That's the day he died. No, it was March 9th the next year on his birthday. It was raining. So he died 4 days after his birthday the year before. It was raining, and I was shooting baskets and just kind of, was thinking about him. It was raining. There was nobody else outside. And I look up in the sky, and there's this little dot up there. There was a dot way up in the sky. And then it kept floating down and floated down and floated down, and it landed right in my hands. And it was a happy birthday, a cellophane happy birthday balloon that lands right in my hands on his birthday in the middle of the rain on that basketball court. See, that's the kind of stuff that's like, that's weird. Nah, I don't. Yeah, mediums, they use them as a last resort every time. Yeah, and usually they're just people that can think and come up with pretty good theories. Yeah. Well, it looks like Sassafras left. Yeah, whenever you say to somebody, just move on, like it's their show, yeah, it's not going to work out. Okay. Now we're going to get on to the last story. And this is one that they thought maybe he had something to do with too. Yeah, it was cool to get that message. It felt like it was, like what are the odds of that? That balloon could have floated to anybody else in the entire city, but it floats right down to me in my hands right there at the court. Yeah, so those are always interesting. I like hearing those types of things. I don't like the ones that say, "Oh yeah, I've got all the I got all these ghosts and they communicate." Okay, well, do that somewhere else. But what I want to do is the stories, those one-off crazy things that, even a skeptic, you're like, that's weird. That's what it felt like. I mean, you can go check out the what is it called? I think it's just called Paranormal Experiences now. Yeah. Hey, listen, hey, true crime, paranormal, don't try to sell what you're doing here. It's just not gonna work for you. Okay, if you just like to go over the true crime stuff, that'd be cool, but yeah. All right. So here we go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody that watches my show knows what my stance is on it and how I always say exactly what I just said. All right? So if it's something that you can't handle, because it'll never be accepted here. I'll never go, "Oh, yeah, that's great, yeah." I'll never promote somebody who does that kind of stuff or anything like that at all. All right? I'm a real true crime YouTuber. Oh, yeah? Is that right, Dreaming Girl? Dreaming Girl is awesome. I think I can. I'm going to try to imitate her. I think I could do it. I love her voice. Well, cool. Yeah, I mean, if you got your own little group of people that want to watch, then go ahead. But Yeah, there's no paranormal crimes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just people pretend that they are helping solve crimes by conjuring up ghosts. Okay. That kind of thing. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. My channel is fact-based information that leads to theories. Now, if you're really interested in the ghosts and all that kind of shit, then this isn't going to be a great place for you. You know, and if you're somebody who wants to do EVP readings and sit around and when somebody tells you what the word was and you go, yeah, that's it, then, yeah, go for it. I'm going to do the way I do it. I'm not going to change it. All right? There'll never be a show where I have a guest on that's a psychic, EVP reader, or anything of the sort. Okay? So I apologize if that offends some of you, but that's just the reality of it. All right, here we go. This next case is another two girls, which is weird because there was two sets of two girls. Yeah, I mean two sets of two females that were killed in pretty much the same geographical area. So this is the 1955 in Baltimore, Maryland, right? So this is right around that same spot, right? So these are just some images that started off. It's not a long story right here, but this is one of the girls, Nancy Marie Shomette. I think that's how you say it. A Shomette maybe, and then also her name is. It says Michael Ann, but it's Michelle. So it's Michelle Ann Ryan. That's how she pronounced it. Yeah, well, every once in a while you'll get lucky out of thousands and thousands of bogus stuff, yeah. You know what's interesting, though, on my show? We're like 80 to 90% accurate on what we're figuring out. So it's easier when you just use facts. Alright, so here we go. So this took place on... It was weird because one place said it was June 17th, but it couldn't be because June 16th there's articles coming out. So I'm going to get on to this story here, so I don't want to keep talking about EVP readings and stuff. Alright? Is that cool? Alright. Alright, here we go. Let me move to this. Oh, wait, you couldn't see anything that I was doing. Here we go. So we've got these people searching around in this park for clues. Nobody put in, I can't see it up there. That's pretty weird. So this is Nancy Marie Shomette right here. Nobody typed in look it. And there you go right there. And her name is actually, it's spelled Michael, but it's Michelle Ann Ryan, okay? Alright, so here we go. University Gardens, Maryland, June 16th. 1 year ago, so this must be 1 year ago today. Oh yeah, this is how it starts off. So 1 year ago today, Mr. and Mrs. Print E. Shomette and their 3 children. Oh, did you really? Send me an email on that, PG. So Mr. and Mrs. Print E. Shomette and their 3 children moved into a bright new semi-detached brick home on West Park Drive where there was a pleasant recreation ground across the street. So that's in University Gardens. Let's see what that is. University Gardens, Maryland. Yep. Yeah, see, it's close to... That's that hospital that the one was supposed to go to, right? And, oh, man. So that's why they were thinking that maybe this case was related. It was listed on a site A new semi-detached home on West Park Drive where there was a pleasant recreation ground across the street. Okay, so it's pleasant, hold on, West Park Drive. Nah, it doesn't do it. Let me see if there's a West Park Drive. No, that's not it. Okay. Anyways, let me just get back to this. We moved here because there were no teenagers for Nancy. So they moved there just for her teenager, Nancy. We moved here because there were no teenagers for Nancy on Kennedy Street. So they lived on Kennedy Street. Then they moved over here so that she could have teenagers to play with. That's weird. And no parent would do that today, I guarantee it. And no park for youngsters to play in, Miss Shomette sobbed. She sat in the living room of the still new 2-story, 6-room home, stunned with the news that her daughter, Nancy, 16, it's one of the Christmas lights, or balls, whatever, and her friend Michelle Ann Ryan, 14, had been murdered in the park that had once seemed such an asset to the neighborhood. How come there's no West Park Drive on there? Let me try that again. West Park Drive in University. No? So that's West Park. Maybe it's Park Avenue now or something. Let's see. Park Avenue, University Gardens. Yeah, it just keeps doing the same thing. University Gardens, but it doesn't have that street anymore. Gotta be right around in this area, though. Yeah, so that's an area there. She sat in the living room of the still new 2-story, 6-room home, stunned. There was such a nice group of teenagers here, she said. Why? She asked with a gesture of futility. We raise a girl to 16, a good, sensible, clean-cut girl. Why do these things happen? Meanwhile, in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Thomas E. Ryan, the family sadly prepared for the funeral of Michelle Ann, which will be held from her home at 9:30 a.m. Saturday. A requiem mass will follow at 10 a.m. at St. John Baptist de La Salle Catholic Church. It's 5700 Sargent Road. So let's see where that is, just to see if we're in the right spot. Now, so that's close. Yeah. So that's the church. The mass was held. That's crazy. Look how close it was to that hospital that the other, those other two girls that were murdered in 56 that we covered? That was the same victims of Rees. Well, this is the hospital they were supposed to go on the bus to go to. And then that other area is just right there. And then there's the place where they picked up the bus. I don't know, man. I wouldn't say that he had nothing to do with this. Although we'll get to that part later. Many of the Shomette's neighbors had also selected the neat row of semi-detached homes because of the Lane Manor recreation area. Okay, there we go. Lane Manor. Come on, still be there, please. Recreation. Oh, is it close to this area? Oh, there we go. Right here, the Lane Manor recreation area, right there. I think that's what this is. Hey, you want to try to find their address, Dan? The Shomettes. So it's the name is Print, Print, literally like to print something. But Print E, or I'll type it in here. Here we go. See if you can find the address to Print E Shomette. Right there. See if you can find that one. And that was back in 1956. I do want to say I feel bad. Like if somebody's in here and they're into ghosts and things like that, I feel bad when I just have to say what I think, like it makes me feel bad though, because it's like, wow, they're so into that. But it's just been part of my channel and what I believe for so long. It's literally why I have that sound effect, so we can joke around, because it's goofy. All right, so I know there's a lot of people that are into that kind of stuff, and I'm not into it. So I just got to be genuine of who I am and what I'm not open to it. Oh, you found him on Ancestry? Yeah, I'm not open to it anymore. I've looked into all of it, and I know what's going on, and it's just not for me. But I feel bad because it makes, I don't want to create a division, like somebody that likes the channel or something, and then they're into that, and then they get angry because I'm not into that. And I think that's the difference. I'm an actual true crime YouTuber. You see? And so if people like that kind of stuff, I don't consider it true crime whatsoever. Okay, to me, it's like a parlor game. It's a trick, and so I don't put any faith into it at all. I don't assign any value whatsoever. In fact, I put reverse of that. But I know it makes people feel bad when they're into that, and so it just is what it is, right? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's, but I always feel like I gotta say something when I see it, because it's sort of, I think it's important, Yeah. Maybe that's the way to look at it. You know, but what sucks for me is it always ends up making me feel shitty when I realize, oh wow, there's somebody that actually liked that stuff, you know, and then I'm not going to be doing anything with it, you know, because I absolutely don't believe in it at all. So, you know, what do I do? Anybody have any suggestions? Anybody? Anybody at all? Is anybody even here anymore? Yeah, we're down to 410. Yeah. Yeah, you might not care, Rita, but I do care because it's my show, right? So I don't support it here. So, like, you don't care about it, but I do. I think it's, you know, I care a lot. Because I'm an actual true crime YouTuber. Hey, Brianna Banana's here. She wants everybody to know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad when I make people feel like that. I don't dislike them as a person or something like that, but it's just, you know, if they want to watch me for what I'm doing, and hell, you can even use all of my theories and assign the voices to the theories that I've got, and you'll be amazed how much more accurate you'll become as an EVP reader. Just say, with inspiration from, at the very end, you know, with inspiration from Gray, the ghosts this week are now coming. Well, it's hard though, Rita, because, you know, like, one of them obviously, you know, they were in here and they're, you know, watching my show and they like my channel, whatever, but then I feel like I've got to say something, you know. Oh, so Chloe, you guys, man, you guys are mean. Blue's been around for so long, and you guys voted that Chloe was 53% and Blue 47. Hey, Blue, come here, Blue. Where's, hey, hold on, let me. Where's Blue? Oh, they're outside now? Yeah. We're waiting at the door. Here, Blue. Hey. All right. Look. Look it. Come on, vote again, everybody. Vote again. Vote again. Come on, Blue. Come on, vote again. Vote again. Come here, Blue. Whoa. Yeah, come on. Get that right. Listen, you're always going to be the cutest one to me. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Poor Blue. Man, he's been around for all those years, and you guys just stab him in the back. Gee. Oh. Yeah. Oh, the number isn't good on the screen right now. The phone lines aren't open. Like, that number isn't good right there. Yeah. I have to set it all up and everything. I can turn them off. All right, let's get back to this. So you couldn't get the address, huh? All right. So there was such a nice group of teenagers here, she said. Why, she asked with a gesture of futility. You raise a girl to 16, a good, sensible, clean-cut girl. Why did these things happen? Meanwhile, in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Thomas E. Ryan, the family sadly prepared for the funeral of Michelle Ann, which will be held from her home at 9:30 a.m. Saturday. A requiem mass will follow at 10 a.m. at St. John Baptist de La Salle Catholic Church at 57 Sargent Road. Many of the Shomette's neighbors also had selected the neat row of semi-detached homes because of the Lane Manor recreation area across the street. So that means they probably lived right here, this whole row here. And if you go down to the street, let's see if the homes look like ones that would have been built pre-19. Yes, 100%. I think they even described them like that, like brick. Didn't they say that at the beginning of that article? And their 3 children moved into a bright new semi-detached brick home on West Park Drive. What's the name of that street now, though? It is West Park Drive. It's right there. Shit, you guys didn't even... Okay, so she lived in one of these homes right here. Meanwhile, let's see, let me get down here. Many of the Shomette's neighbors also had selected the neat row of semi-detached homes because the Lane Manor recreation area. Now it has become a symbol of horror that many of them will never forget. One West Park Drive father said, so one of the fathers on West Park Drive said, "We thought this was an ideal spot for our youngster. Now I won't let them go near the park." Ironically, Mike and Nancy were among a group of children who had planned a barbecue in the park yesterday afternoon. 2 boys who were to go along had stopped off at the Shomette home to see if the 2 girls were ready. Another member of the proposed barbecue party, Rosemary Dillon, was returning with hot dogs for the occasion when the news reached West Park Drive that Nancy and Mike, they called her, had been found dead in the park. Nancy and Mike were clean, sensible kids, one neighbor said. Nancy's father is an excavation engineer. Mike's father as a Washington policeman. Yeah. All right. And another article that day. I think that one's almost exactly the same. I can tell by looking at it. So on the 17th, the next day in the paper, we'll get you next time, Dreaming Girl. We got a song. You owe us a song, Dreaming Girl. Okay, Dreaming Girl. Dreaming Girl voted for Chloe. Jeez.
Dreaming girl, you're so mean.
Why?
I don't know.
See, she didn't even know. Wait, what's this one? Well, this is the 17th right here. The front door of Michael and... Oh, there it's going to be right there. 7614. We get to see the exact address. There we go. Man, all I had to do was read the next article and we had it. 7614 West Park. Look how 2 houses away on the guest. Alright, let's go to the, right here. And just now we can see their exact house. Right there. Pretty, you know, pretty generic looking homes there, let's be honest. Hold on one second. Sorry, I gotta do something real quick. Alright. There we go, there we go. Alright. So it says the front door of Michael and Ryan's home at 7614 West Park Drive was set off today by a funeral crepe, is it crepe? Of white flowers, fern, and white ribbon. The trim brick house was still, and the door was deserted. Here 2 days ago, a little after 8 o'clock in the morning, stood Mike Ryan's girlfriend. So her name is Michelle, though. But they have it down as Michael. But now they're calling her Mike. So now you think, well, was it Michael or Mike? I don't know. Anyway, Nancy Marie Shomette tapping on the freshly painted screen door, looking for Mike to walk with her to Northwestern High School to pick up a report card. So Mike in this instance is another girl. The morning was sunny, and Nancy, happy at the end of the school term, wore a fresh pink dress with flared skirt and a pair of low-heeled white shoes. But death was waiting. Mike, the younger of the two girls, skipped down the steps to join her, wearing a black blouse and a striped blue skirt. Together they walked across West Park Drive to the Lane Manor Recreation Center, where death was waiting for them both in the deep, cool woods. Following a road automobiles have made through the park, the girls passed a small picnic grove with 2 green tables and a brick grill. I wonder if any of that stuff is still there. And it doesn't look like there's deep woods anywhere. And I have a feeling that this whole area at one time, I bet you if we go back to 94, looks a little bit, but I mean, we have to go back to, there we go, like 88, it's more, there's not a lot of stuff going on. How far, yeah, let's see. Well, that's 1949 right there. That's not 1949. Well, anyways, I'm sure there was a lot more woods. Like this whole area was probably right there were woods. That's what I think. You can just tell by looking at it that this is probably new. This probably wasn't even there. And this whole park was probably, you know, probably had some places to play and whatnot, but yeah, so it's in this park here, but it didn't look like this. We're talking 1956. Following a road, automobiles have made through the park. The two girls passed a small picnic grove with 2 green tables and a brick grill. On a tree, there was a sign listing rules of the park. The second rule, ironically, forbade firearms in the recreation area. One of the girls went passing a softball diamond, a playground with swings and sliding board, and a basketball court. The road was edged by tall grass where wild daisies grew. One of them apparently gathered daisies. A crushed bouquet was found near their bodies. Within a few minutes, they had walked 300 yards from their homes, but through the trees, they could still catch a glimpse of West Park Drive. Following the windy road, Mike and Nancy, so it's Michelle and Nancy, walked by another basketball diamond and through groves of young birch and locust trees. Finally, they moved under a thick cover of tall trees and into a second large picnic grove of 4 tables and 2 grills. They had almost reached a wooden bridge over a stream when they were shot down. Another 100 yards away, the park ended, and their walk would soon have been over. Instead, their bodies were found on the edge of the picnic grove, hastily hidden in a thicket of trees. When they reached the grove, they had been away from home 15 minutes. They were to remain away forever. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it was like in the middle of the day, you're just... So let's see, is that the stream right there? So let's say, they say 300 yards. Is that the stream that they're talking about? Let's see. So let's say that's the home. And if we're going to do yards here. Okay, that's 186 yards. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll do this one, but make a circle with the yards right here, and then we'll go out to 300. We'll just say inside of that, that's 330. Right? So there's a creek there, but maybe there's another... I mean, you can see that the park does kind of go over here. Like, this whole thing is... I bet you these are the same. I bet you these baseball diamonds have been there since they built it. Those aren't usually changed up over time. And that's within the 300 yards. Let's see if we can read that again and that portion and figure anything out from that. That sound good? Finally, let's see. One of them apparently gathered daisies. Within a few minutes, they had walked 300 yards from their home, but through the trees they could still catch a glimpse of West Park Drive. Following the windy road, Mike and Nancy walked by another baseball diamond. But that was a road made by cars. That's not a baseball diamond. So the park actually does go all the way over here like this. Well, we know that there was bridges back there, but the creek keeps going. See? Let me switch the season so we can see. There we go. Okay, so it goes to the right there. And maybe that's a bridge right there. See? I wouldn't be shocked if that's the bridge. Is that within... It's a little bit more than the 300 yards, though, so... There's a bridge there, a bridge here, and I don't really see any over there. But, yeah, it was hard to tell. I thought the creek may have gone up there, but if you change the seasons on Google Earth, you can actually get a better view of streams and so forth. Alright, so we already went, so another 100 yards away, the park ends, and their walk would soon have been over. Instead, their bodies were found on the edge of the picnic grove. Yeah. So the park does end. Let me can I affect that? No, I can't. Let me do this again. I'm going to delete the So there's 400 yards. And now we're getting near that. Yeah, so I think it was somewhere around in here, because these are where the baseball diamonds are. So they walked by a second baseball diamond. So it's probably over in this area. Doesn't that make sense? Hey, Lanky Tor, what's going on? Now will it work if I click on Lanky Tor? There it is. Individuals spotted in crime area. So this is the next day. Seat Pleasant, Maryland, June 17th. Police trying to solve the Picnic Grove murders of 2 schoolgirls searched today for a strange man spotted in the crime area with a rifle on his shoulder, a knife in his belt, and a bandolier slung Pancho Villa fashion across his chest. Wow. Workers on a construction project about a mile from the Picnic Grove near the University of Maryland campus told of seeing the armed man both before and shortly after the dual slayings that shocked the state Wednesday. They said he appeared at the project on Tuesday, begged a drink of water, then set off in the woods on a path that could have taken him to the Picnic Grove. Between 10 and 10:30, looks like, I don't know if that's in the next morning he emerged from the woods, got another drink of water, then went on his way. Girl lying dead at the time. The workmen had no way of knowing it then, but at the time the man made his second appearance. Nancy Marie Shomette, 16, and Michelle Ann Ryan, 14, were lying dead in the secluded Picnic Grove about a mile away. Nancy had been shot 11 times. Wow. Jesus, nobody heard? I mean, how could nobody heard this, though? It's like, right, 3 slugs from a .22 caliber weapon had torn into Michael Ann or Michelle Ann or Mike Ann. The murderer had made a cursory attempt to conceal the bodies, but his subterfuge was detected by a little spaniel less than 2 hours later. His barking... Blue and Chloe. His barking led to the discovery of the crime. The story of the mysterious armed man was related today by Rodney Shomette, Nancy's uncle, who worked at the construction project. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to do the apple, and then I'm going to cut to the end really quick. There you go. She's just a pest. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like a sound effect for the dog, right? Yeah, there you go. Look at her position there. She's ready to pounce. Chloe. No. Chloe. Come on, Chloe. Come here, Chloe. All right, here we go. Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, wrong one. I'm sure a lot of you wanted to put me in jail earlier. Did that one or this one? Man, I'm allergic to Chloe. Man, doesn't that suck? You're so little. Jeez. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's something, their shampoo or something. Man, brew. Thank you. Let's see. It made a cursory attempt. The story of the mysterious armed man was related today by Rodney Shomette. Mental hospital. He said he understood the man, whoever he was, had been located as a patient in an armed service mental hospital. Captain Charles Thompson, or Thompson, with an S-E-N, of the Prince George County Police confirmed, these dogs, that a search was on for the man, but added he had no knowledge of the mental hospital patient. James Purrier, a Laurel operator of a bulldozer on a project across from the recreation park and his picnic grove, told of seeing two boys with a .22 caliber on University Lane within an hour of the killings. Yeah, that's just way... Look how crazy that is. Look how much that is. Okay, they thought there was these two kids. Shots heard. Chief Penagoulis announced that it has been established that the shooting took place at 8:45 and 9 a.m. So just early. But not even that early. People are awake. And this is in June, right? So, for the second time in as many days, 15-year-old Marilyn Lobenstern, who lives near the Shomette and Ryan homes overlooking the park, was taken to the murder scene. She told police of having taken a bike ride in the park on the day of the murder. Around 9:45 a.m., within an hour of the shooting, she stopped on a small bridge across a stream bordering the picnic grove. She said her attention was attracted by a metallic glint through the trees. The glint, she added, came from the shiny surface of a black automobile parked deep in the woods. The bodies of her friends were lying less than 50 feet from the wooden bridge on which she had stopped her bicycle. Chief Panagoulis said that several other persons have reported seeing a dark-colored sedan in the vicinity. A full-scale conference of all the authorities assigned to the grim job of finding the murderer of two children opened at 7 o'clock tonight at the Prince George's Police Substation. Yeah. And then on the 29th, to seek murder gun in 2 wells. They were looking for the gun in a well, drained the pond, and let's see. The bodies of the 2 girls, Nancy Marie Shomette, 16, and Michelle Ann Ryan, 14, had been dragged from the spot in the grove where they fell to the edge of the thicket, where clumsy attempts were made to bury their yeah, this is another one of those weird ones. It's right in the middle of the day. Just bury their bodies. A neighbor's dog discovered them soon after they were killed. A group of 25 Signal Corps linemen from Fort Meade, who spent yesterday climbing 500 trees around the grove, returned today to continue their above-the-ground search for the gun. The murder weapon, according to police, is an automatic or semi-automatic Marlin 22 caliber rifle. The make was was determined after ballistics experts study 14 slugs taken from the bodies. Man, this person was just like 14 shots. Man. While they rode towards Washington, Jones said the man commented that it was too bad those 2 girls had to get killed. The man who had said he had to get to College City, presumably College Park, jumped out of the truck at Queens Chapel Road near Hyattsville. Jones told police and furnished a description which tallied roughly with the description given earlier of a rifle-carrying man who had been seen to enter and leave the woods where the girls died at the time of the murder. That sounds like that's got to be the killer, the one with the rifle. So there was another, they're finding all these people that look like they might be a suspect, and, it just kept going on and on and on, and then it was never solved. But, however, in the year 2000, which is, 45 years later, or 76 years ago. That's crazy, right? Wait, is it 76 or 6? No, it must be 66 years ago. A deathbed confession in PG closes 1950 murder case. So, let's just read this one. Prince George's County Police have completed their investigation into the 1955 slaying of 2 teenagers in Hyattsville, and Chief John Farrell said he is confident the murders have been solved. Farrell announced Thursday that the department's cold case... See, what's weird is in the papers they kept saying that this killer was Rees. And they said it all the way up to 95, so that's how I got the names and I was putting them all together. But then I kept looking into this one, and then boom, this popped out in 2000. So those articles, so Farrell announced Thursday that the department's cold case squad, which investigates unsolved murders, has concluded that 2 brothers who lived in the neighborhood were responsible for the murders of Michelle Ann Ryan, 14, and Nancy Marie Shomette, 16. Neither Edward H. Dobeck or John M. Dobeck will stand trial for the murders. Both died of cancer in 1996. Yeah, let's just look that up for the hell of it. What do we got in here? Hold on. Let's do the Ben verified on these guys. Edward H. Dobeck. Edward H. Dobeck. That's got to be only one of those. And what's the other one's name? And John. So Edward's less common. He's going to be 100. Wait, what was it again? Edward H. It could be this one, right? How old would they be? Let's see. The girls were killed in a wooded park in June 15, 1955. As they walked to Northwestern High School to pick up their report cards, both girls were shot several times with bullets fired from a .22 caliber rifle. For 45 years, the girls' deaths remained a mystery that dogged generations of Prince George's County police officers. But John Dobeck's widow came forward 4 years ago with new information. Her agreement with John was that she not disclose this information until both brothers had died, said Lieutenant Michael McKillen, a homicide investigator who interviewed the woman. Edward H. Dobeck died in Hollywood, Florida in April 26, 1996. Okay, let me put that. I'm going to put Hollywood, Florida. There's got to only be one of those. Come on. Edward H. Oh, man. His brother, John Dobeck, died June 23rd, 1996 in San Antonio. How'd that happen? Man. Edward H. died in Hollywood, Florida on April 26th, and his brother, John M. Dobeck, died June 23rd, the same year, 2 months later, in San Antonio. I mean, God. Were they twins, or... Let me type in that one. John. I'm going to do John M. Dobeck, San Antonio, Texas. Now there he is. So 81 years old. And let's see if his brother shows up, which would have been Edward. And he died in 1996. This is the right one. And so there you go. Like, that's right there, 1996, June. So that's even right. And then the relative, they had none listed on there, but he is the right one. No criminal. And they had... Weird. Yeah, that's definitely John M. Dobeck. Man, you could tell, like, it seems like he didn't want to be found or something. Very sparse information about him and his brother, you know. So, but he's 81, so let me see what this says here. The stand trial. So the other brother would be Edward H. Dobeck. But his brother died in, in Florida, right? And he would be 80-ish. I'm going to guess M as well. Let's see. Come on. Probably not the right one. No. So it might be the one that's 83 with a V in the middle. But it says he died in... Okay, this is him. Yeah, right there. Deceased April 1996 in Florida. Edward V. Dobeck. He's got 20 relatives on here. And, well, shit, isn't his brother named John? Well, there he is right there. Although he's only 57, so that's probably the son of one of them. Look for another one that's red, because he died too. Alright, let me see what the criminal... If he had anything at all. Anything at all. Nothing. Florida. Yeah, so he got about as far away as he could do on the East Coast. So that's pretty crazy, right? So on their death, but only after when both of them died could they come forward. She come forward and put the names out there. God. Edward H. Dobeck died in Hollywood, Florida on April 26, and his brother died the same year, 2 months later. Wow. Gene Dobeck's statements were presented for voice stress analysis, and they would be pretty young. They were only in their 50s at the time. Gene Dobeck's statements were presented for voice stress analysis that determined that she was lying when she said her husband was not involved in the killings. She later admitted that both men were at the scene, police said. The woman told police that her husband took her to the murder scene in 1972 and showed her the location from where the shots were fired. He told her the girls' bodies were concealed in separate locations several hundred feet apart. Mrs. Dobeck also told police that Edward Dobeck described to her his role in the shooting during a 1993 illness because he thought he was dying. That's crazy, right? Wow. Well, it sounds like they got the answer, though. And see, this was an article written in 1991, and so that hadn't happened yet. So this goes on and on about all these other people and this and that and the other thing. Like, let's see if you type in Dobeck. Yeah, see, it's not even in there. So I'm not even going to bother looking at it. And look how long that article is. You know, it's 1991, but it. No, it's been solved now. Yeah, I don't know how she could do that. Thursday at the department's cold case squad. Neither Edward Dobeck or John Dobeck will stand trial. Well, hell, what? Hold on, let's go. And so, what was her? Neither Edward was. The girls were killed. For 45 years, the girl's death remained a mystery that dogged generations of Prince George's County police officers, but John Dobeck's widow came forward 4 years ago with new information. Her agreement with John was that she not disclose this information. Okay, so that's John's... Which one am I on here? That's John's wife. Okay. So let's see if we can get her name. Yeah, 0 relatives for John. Isn't that perfect? Yeah, so he wasn't trying to get his name out there at all. No, it's Gene Dobeck. There it is right there. Okay, cool. They gave it to us. So now I can type in Gene Dobeck and keep the Florida in there, and maybe that'll get us right there. Says she's 94. That'd be kind of weird. Says she died in 2001 in Wisconsin. So she was older than he was. By quite a bit. If that's the same person. Let me try Gene. Are you guys bored to death right now? Gene Dobeck, Maryland. Yep, there's some there too. Now there's one in San Antonio. I actually think that might be the one that's 75 years old. So it'll be 7 years younger. No relatives as well. So I think that's the one. Right? Yeah, because John's the one that died in San Antonio. So this is her. Man, absolutely nothing in here. Yeah, unbelievable. Nothing on them at all, just their name. All right. Anyways, you guys, I think that's going to be it. So I'm sorry if if it really bothers you that I'm not into ghosts and goblins and EVP and psychic readings and all that stuff. I'm just trying to give you fair warning that I often bash them. And as a matter of fact, if I even just see it, I'll say something about it. All right, so that's just kind of the way it is, and I just I can't be. I wish I could be different. If I could, it's hard for me to not say something. Thanks, Mag. I appreciate it. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you guys liked the show. I know it got kind of deep in the some of these older cases here, but I needed to get through. I thought it was interesting to go through, especially on the Rees serial killing of the Jackson family, and then see, as he explained, what happened. I'm not sure I believe exactly what he said, but it is what it is. Yeah, well, I don't want that EVP person to think I hate her. I mean, I saw her on a show one time. She seems pretty nice. She wasn't doing EVP reading, so. Alright, and let me get to the, hold on a second. Thank you, MM. Wait, that's NM. Wait. LM. So now we got an LM and an MM. So you're next in the alphabet? Who's going to be the PM? Who's going to be the PM? Or no, the NM. Forget it. I can't. And then the OM. Wow, we got them all, man. We got the OM, LM, NM. Yeah, I can't even do it. Oh, cool. All right, Mag. Yep, I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, so the takeaway from the Delphi conversation that we had at the beginning was that in the entire affidavit, or the whatever that way, I think it was an affidavit, in that entire document, law enforcement collected from him on the 25th of February 2017 when they went to search the warrant. They collected all of these phones, but the only phone he didn't have was the one that he uses all the time, and the one that he was using during the time that Abby and Libby were murdered. And all the other phones had incriminating information on it, but he didn't care about those. He didn't pretend that those weren't around somewhere. But the other phone, he didn't want them to see, and then between the 25th and the 27th, he deleted a whole bunch of accounts and apps that were on that phone. And then, try to clear as much stuff off the phones as he could. Then he turned it in. And what's is weird is the only phone that he was concerned about removing digital data from was the phone that he had during the time that Abby and Libby were killed. I think that's an interesting aspect. So, hey, thanks, Sarah M. Look at that, you got the UFO. Thank you. Yeah. So that's what we were talking about earlier, and then we went over, we have a new sort of missing person case right now. What's her name? Yeah, Christine Beeson. Her car just seems to have vanished off the face of the earth. So we'll keep looking out for that one. So there you go, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. I got to go through my list here, though. Hold on. And make sure you share the channel and try to, see if you can get more people to come watch Grant Hughes investigate. Yeah, let's do. You know what I need to hear right now, really quick, is this one right here. Oh yeah. Here we go. From the green forests of the Pacific Northwest, I bid you all good evening, or good morning, as the case may be. Tonight, we'll be talking to Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Oh, and don't forget, after the first commercial break, we're going to have on Richard C. Hoagland. And he'll tell you exactly why we haven't been back to the moon in the last 60 years. Oh, and don't forget, Major Ed Gaines, a remote viewer, will be coming on later to discuss the latest in that field. And oh my God, will you guys be absolutely interested in that? Anyway, alright, yeah. Hey, good night, Ashley.
Good night. Art Bell. Tonight, watch the Art Bell Show.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, 25 months as a Megazoid. Thank you, Georgina Stoliker. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, that's what we're gonna do.
Thank you to Georgina Stoliker, Sarah M. M.M. Man, Kit, Mad Crocheter, Linda Howell, Hebbs W, Carolina Bureau, Teresa Ann, Jessica Schubach, Teresa Ann, Angela Alex, Jessica Schubach, Harry Mom, Eugenie, Larry Fisher, Happy Friday Maker, Mama She 13, Yvonne T. Mama She 13, Harry Mom. Mama She 13, Sarah Burns. VP, Mama She 13, Mama She 13. Patty Barnett, Mama She 13. William Colson, Alice Patat, Cat Eye Donation. Steph May, Mary Gladiano, Amber Native. Truth Slew, L.M. Mary Gladiano, Randy C, Chrissy, and Sarita.
Hey, thank you, Chuck, for the ending there.
Hey, no problem. I actually go by John Boy, but
I'll call you Chuck, okay? Yeah. He was trying to tell me. Yeah. Did you hear that, Zozo? He was trying to tell me his name is Chuck now. What? No, we knew it was you, John Boy. Nobody was confused, John Boy. Wow, unbelievable. Kind of sneaked that in there on us. All right, you guys. Thank you guys very much. I will be back on tomorrow, of course, with some new cases or follow-ups on anything else. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some new stuff that we can find on the breaking information that's in the Delphi case. We just don't know at this point. But hey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the way out the door, and make sure to sign up for the GHI missing. What is it? The missing on Facebook. GHI missing. Come on, give me the right words. All right. I need to put that into the. Yeah, so it's GHI Missing Network. There you go. GHI Missing Network. I just remembered what it was. So you go on to that one. That's the one that Zozo's running on there. You can check out the Instagram page. It is doing that one. So you guys can just, support everywhere. Hey, what's that sideways face? Well, you guys, you know what? It's supposed to be The Missing Network, not Missing Network. Like, hey, you're missing a network, everybody. Hey, GHI is missing a network. It's not a missing network. Well, I guess you could do the same thing if you said The Missing Network. You'd say, well, what do you mean The Missing Network? It's not missing at all. It's right here. But anyways, it's GHI Missing Network, okay? Come on! Yeah. Yeah, and there's also Grant Hughes Investigates on there. And then right after this, you can go over to... oh yeah, there it is. That thing that Beholder just put in there. Click on the link tree there, and it has all the links to various Grant Hughes Investigates places. Alright. Alright, anyways, thank you guys very much. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And I'm sure you'll hear my exact same theory on that affidavit tomorrow from other YouTubers. Alright, bye. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector.
The rejector.
Are they certified human lie detector?
Shut up, John boy.
Getcha on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a puppet tester. Field deflector, interceptor, and I mean a little specter with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you.
Yay!
Deflector, interceptor, and I mean than a specter with a vector on his vector with the sector.
Hey, that ended a long time ago, John boy.
Yeah, I'm Audrey Langmose.
Oh, Jason.
Hey, I think she was found by the bridge. Hey, she was found by the bridge.
Hey, John Boy, you're on rewind mode. Can you get off of rewind mode, you idiot?
Oh, okay, let me, do that. Yeah, hey, great, okay, crime dissector, third rejector, almost certified human not.
Hey, you didn't fast forward it enough. We're already in the flyby, okay?
Oh, I forget it.
Yikes. There you go, everybody. That's why you all like me more than John Boy. You get it? Daylight and a dollar short. Hey, thanks, Barry Mom. I'll let Gray know. Hey! Bozo's gonna kill me! Bozo's gonna kill me! Hey, what happened? Namaste! Ooh.
Oh boy. Yeah, look at that. It's Nebulae Uglaglag Liglug. And we're not really sure if that is an actual name, but with that many galaxies out there, or nebulae, it's got to be a name somewhere, don't you think? All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching the show tonight, and thank you for supporting the channel. And if you missed it, we also donated $500 more to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, a great organization that really helps out when there's a missing child or, sex trafficking, that kind of thing. Amazing. So, anyways, thank you guys very much. We will see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, till next time, be safe out there.
Great, what about me? Don't I get to say goodnight too? Gee.
No, you don't get to say a damn thing, okay?
That's not very nice, Great. Gee.
Oh, man. I think people like you, but after a while, when you keep saying G like that, I think they're going to stop liking you.
Why do you think that, Great? Gee, I mean, why do you think that?
For that exact reason. All right. Good night, everybody.